Hello everyone and welcome to this pick a card reading. So we are going to do a love reading today. I'm a little bit late with Valentine's Day being yesterday, but I just feel all of a sudden this inspiration to channel love readings and I'm just going to go with it. So I wanted to keep the topic of the reading open so that it could include people who are both partnered and single. So it's going to be all about your next or current relationship and kind of just looking at the themes being explored, what each of you are bringing to the connection, the divine union, the healing that's taking place, and just, channeled messages that want to come through at this time. So we have 4 piles today and I've decided to use stones to choose from. So first crystal is larvikite, second one is citrine, the third one is hematite, and then the 4th crystal is black obsidian. Okay, so group number 1. Your card is strength. Wow. So I feel this relationship is coming in for you in divine timing for those of you who are single. It's a strong message here. But I feel like this relationship is going to be, the overall energy between you both is really strong and solid. Like it feels very grounded, it feels very stable, consistent, reliable. So the energy of this relationship feels very grounded, and it feels like, the figure 8, so strength is number 8. So I'm feeling like the infinity symbol. So it's like there's something about the energy bond that you two will have together that sort of like feeds into one another. And it provides this really strong like energy lock, like you're both like magnetized towards each other. There's a sense of loyalty here within the relationship that makes you both feel incredibly safe, and therefore a lot of healing takes place here. I think that there might be things that you go through as a couple, as a like within your union, maybe just like life things though, not really seeing, because I feel like the energy between you both is really, really strong, like solid, like the infinity symbol, like unbreakable. So no matter what you're going through in your life, there seems to be this sense of being on each other's team. Like I feel like it's this beautiful energy you have where even if you're going through something stressful, some life event that's really, incredibly stressful, I feel like you don't turn on each other in those moments. You stay loyal to one another and you stay kind of on one another's side to help and support each other through these life events. And I think that's something that you will really be struck by within this relationship. And the light came out as I said that. But I feel like you're really going to be struck by how strong your bond is and how it feels like nothing can break you and nothing can turn you against each other kind of thing. So yeah, there's a beautiful energy here. I feel you're both going to feel very like lucky or gifted, grateful for the connection and for the bond that you have. So there's definitely not going to be any kind of reasons to mistrust each other or anything like that. Like there's just going to be a very solid trust, respect, loyalty, and a sense of, I know, like you're going to know that you're meant to be together and you're going to know that you're meant to be together for a long time. Like I feel longevity in this relationship. I feel like maybe it's meant to be a long time, maybe even kind of forever. So for those of you that resonate, this is sort of like your forever person, I feel. And there's just this sense of not worrying, like not feeling threatened or feeling insecure or feeling like you're going to be abandoned or left at any moment. There's just this solid ground from which you both conduct yourselves, and therefore it makes the relationship feel very healing to be in. And I'm even feeling like soothing, peaceful, healing, like a sanctuary. Yeah, a sanctuary from the world and from past relationships even. So with the strength card as well, like the level of attraction that you'll have between each other is very strong. It's very strong, it's very fiery, and very eternal. Like I just see that it won't fade. And there's a sense of like you won't have eyes for anybody else. There's a sense of loyalty that I feel really strongly from your group where I just don't think you're going to have eyes for others. And it's like, I think that maybe this is going to be very interesting to you because I feel this sense of maybe there has been in the past some kind of insecurity around partners maybe being interested in other people while they're with you, or I don't know, something like this where I just feel there's going to be this peacefulness because you're going to feel a sense of safety and security because they really just have eyes for you. Like, they really do. And I feel you're going to feel the same way. There's just this very strong, feeling of being in love. And I feel this romance as well can last decades. Like, this is the kind of romance that can last for decades. Okay, so let us pull some more cards. So we're going to do a chakra card for you and for them. This is just the 7 chakras, not the full extended chakras. So we'll do one for you in this connection. Woo, third eye. And one for them. The base chakra, root chakra. Okay, so really interesting. I feel like this person you're going to be in a relationship with, they really offer you such a stable energy, such a stable space. Oh, my throat chakra. Such a stable space and a stable energy, and a feeling that you haven't really had before, of feeling like you're home or you belong. I can see as well you building a home with this person. I feel like they're the perfect person for you to build a home with. That's what I'm feeling. And to have that feeling of safety that you have within your own home, you know, like when the fire's on and it's winter and you're in this cozy kind of cottage, that's the vibes that I'm getting. And I feel like this person, when they come into your life, they really help to ground you. They really help to bring you back into this earth plane, this earth dimension, through their connection to nature. Maybe they have pets, or you get a pet together, or they have children, or you have children together. There's something about their connection to very earthy like things, or maybe they're really good at building things or growing food or something like this. They're in the garden all the time. I just feel there's something about their energy and their essence that really grounds you at a fundamental level. And I feel your energy is very, very spiritual. Like, you might be kind of a mystic or a psychic or a healer, or you work with the energies, or you channel, or I don't know, there's something about you that is up in the higher dimensions. Like, you exist up in those higher dimensions, and this person is really good for you because they help to ground you into this dimension. They help to keep your feet planted on the ground, because I feel like you're just up and you're floating around and you're astral projecting and you're doing energy healings or channeling work or psychic work. It's kind of easy for you to be kind of like out of body. So I feel like this person really helps with your embodiment and just really also your enjoyment of the earth plane. Like, I feel this sense of grounding from like the pleasure that you can engage with this person. Like, talking about all kinds of pleasure, but you know, even just cooking a really beautiful meal and having it at night and watching the sunset and sitting outside. And there's just something about just the basics of life that you find so deeply fulfilling when you're with this person. Like, it becomes nourishment to your soul to like do the cooking or the cleaning or the home taking, like the home caring. Like, you just find something about this person makes it really nice. Or maybe they really like cooking, they really like cleaning, or they do these things to help you. That could also be a dynamic for some of you guys. Like, this person comes in and they're just this chef, they just want to cook all this food for you, and you're like, great, perfect. I don't know, there's something really nice here that you're going to just love. And then they're going to really love your spiritual energy and the way that you conduct yourself in those higher dimensions. I think that they are very spiritual. I think you're both spiritual, but you have different ways of accessing your spirituality. Whereas you very like have this direct communication with spirit. You have this direct channeling to spirit. Whereas I feel like this person coming in, represented as the root chakra, they have more of a connection to spirit that is connected through the land, through people, the way that they treat people, the way they show up in community, their acts of service, like the way that they kind of show their love in really practical ways. And they have a holiness about them, and like the way that they live, they have a holiness in the way they live. Like, they will give like the shirt off their back for someone, you know, like it's very practical ways of like being a good person. And I think they also have a very strong spirituality that's connected to nature and spending time in nature. And it's almost like a little bit unspoken. Whereas I feel like you have, like I said, this direct source connection, this direct channeling abilities or healing energies, or a way of articulating things that I feel like this person finds very hypnotic. Like, I think this person, the root chakra person, is going to be like hypnotized by you with your showing off as a third eye. Like, I think they're going to be kind of hypnotized by you because your energy is so magnetic, and the way that you channel or the way that you bring through energy from spirit is just so beautiful to them. It's like this beautiful artwork that you're sort of weaving with your words or with your imagery. And you also might be an artist of some kind and they really appreciate this. I also feel a really strong sense they think you're very beautiful with the third eye chakra. It's like something about the image that you have, the way that you dress, your fashion. They find that really beautiful and attractive. The way that you kind of present your image to the world. Maybe you cultivate some kind of social media image or something like this. They find you very magnetic and also very magnetic without you even having to say anything, like just your energy and your essence, because the third eye can be kind of like a silent energy, and I feel that with you. It's like you couldn't literally not be saying anything, but just the energy that you're projecting through your eyes is like enough. It's enough. It speaks 1,000 words. So there's a little bit of love at first sight here on their side, and I don't know about you. I feel like you have a very strong spiritual reading on this person as soon as you meet them. Like there is something different about them and you can feel something there. Okay, so let's pull some more cards. Isn't it fun doing love readings? Okay, so let's see your energy in the relationship. Wow, didn't I say magical? And look, it's a similar color as the third eye. Magic, coincidence, and synchronistic events, the Raven. And then we're going to do their energy in relationship with you. Oh, the Fire Fairy, creative action and optimism. See, they're very embodied with this energy. They're very embodied. They're very much about taking action and kind of like doing things, creating things. Like I could see them kind of being someone that like builds a house out of their bare hands and like knows how to do these kind of skills, or like knows how to survive in the bush, you know, without any kind of food. Like they're very kind of practical and creative as well, but in a very like hands-on kind of way. Like I feel like they're not very intellectual, like they're not really super in their heads, and I think you really love this about them. You're like, oh my god, this is like such good energy for me, because I think I think you can be quite in your head a lot, and you have this deep philosophical mind and psyche, and you just like contemplate things a lot, and you're very deep, and you have this sense of being in touch with magic, and you get downloads and messages, and you read omens, and you read people's energies and their auras, and you're getting all this information all the time, and you're processing information. And so it's like being around this person's energy is like medicine to you, because it grounds you and it clears your mind, and it kind of gets you out of your mind in the best kind of way. It takes you out of your mind and it puts you back into your body. So I really feel like as well, maybe they're very like athletic or fit, or they have some kind of a practice that keeps them really embodied in some way. Like they have a hands-on kind of job, like I said, gardener or builder, or I don't know, something creative like a sculptor, a painter. They could be an athlete of some kind, or they do these as their hobbies. Like it's their hobby to like go like build a cabin in their spare time, you know, out of wood that they collect or something, or it's their hobby to like run marathons or something. There's something very physical about this person, and I think you're going to find that very attractive, I have to say, with the Fire Fairy. You know, that's a very attractive energy. And then the base chakra is kind of like that raw kundalini, like sexuality energy that's very magnetic as well. So this person has a lot going for them in terms of their attractiveness. And I feel like there's just this sort of, yeah, like base chakra effect that they have on you. And I feel like this doesn't happen to you very often, this sort of sense of being so attracted to someone. I think that it's rare, and I think that they also have this energy of just being like such a good person. And I think that's part of the reason why you feel so attracted to them, because there's a very safe feeling, and there's a very simple energy between you actually. It's a very simple relationship with the Strength card as well. It's like there's a simple bond. It's not like drama filled or complicated, or you're not ever guessing if this person's interested in you or not. Like they just show up consistently and they're like, yeah, of course I'm of course I'm interested in you. You know, they're just going to see you as such a magical being. Like they're going to see you as like an elf or a fairy or an angel, an earth angel, or some kind of a mystical being. That's how they view you. They do not view you as an earth being. They're like, who are you? You're from some other dimension. And you are. And like they're sort of, like I said, they for some reason they feel more, I don't know, in touch with the earth energy. And like I said, you're just going to love that about them. But you feel more in touch with like the stars and the kind of like non-physical kind of dimensional, you know, experiences, like interdimensional travel and like interdimensional beings like fairies. And and sprites and elves and, you know, all these different kind of things, vampires. You're in touch with like all of those kinds of things. But then like this person you're in relationship with is like in touch with literal animals and maybe knows how to like care for wild animals and owns like a wild animal sanctuary. Do you know what I mean? So it's kind of like something about their energy is mirroring your energy, but you do this work in the astral and in the non-physical, and they do this work in the physical and in the earth plane. So there's this beautiful union between your energies where it's like, wow, you have this really beautiful, like you're showing up as the bird, which just makes me think about how you're flying. You're constantly flying around and just like traveling and being in this mystical energy. Like you're such a high priestess, mystic healer. Like you are doing work without even saying anything. You're doing work just through having a dream. Like you're also going to be very hypnotic to this person in terms of like the way that you can help them like like what's the word identify symbols. That's what it is. You're going to really help them identify like symbols. Like for example, if they have a dream, you're going to be like, wow, don't you see the symbology in this dream you just had, and it's so related to this thing you've been thinking about or working through. And then they're going to be like, wow, I didn't see it like that. They just like haven't thought of it in the same way. So you really bring in this new perspective and this kind of like piercing energy where you like really pierce through their psyche, and you are really accurate in the things that you say. And this, they find this very magnetic, like the way that you help them to decode their life. They're like, wow, this is so accurate. How did you know this? This is so accurate. And I think as well, you just have this natural effect on them where you start to help them to kind of, I feel like you help them to put more words to their past and to the things that, you know, they might be carrying, like their inner child energy. I feel like you're a natural healer, and I feel like you really help them to heal. And something about you help them to put words to it in a way that they haven't before. And they're going to really love you for this and find you very sacred for this. Like they see you as a very sacred person, as a very sacred being, and as a healer. Okay, so let's pull one card for what are you healing in this connection. So what are you healing in this connection? You're healing focus under third eye. And what are they healing in this connection? Partnership under base chakra. Really? You know, I want to talk about them first. So you know what I feel for them? I feel like they are, wow. And do you know what the back of the deck is? The eagle, spirit, integrity, connection to the angelic realms. Like the energy of your connection is extremely angelic. It seriously is watched over by the angels because there's deep healing taking place here. There is really deep healing taking place here. This is definitely healing you both. So for this person, I feel like something that they're healing is something about reciprocity within relationship. Like you're really teaching them about give and take, because with the root chakra, you know, they're showing up as the root chakra, which means that I feel like they are really used to giving a lot in relationships to the point of being like an overgiver, to the point where it's out of balance for them and they're not receiving as much as they're giving out. And I feel like they do this with family and with friends and with romantic, you know, partnerships. So I feel like you're really going to show them what it feels like. Oh, look, you're 33 and they're 32. I just realized that. I feel like you're going to really show them what it means to feel, like what it feels like, not just what it means, but it's like they know what it feels like now. They have a reference point for like, oh, this is what it feels like to be reciprocal with somebody. This is what it feels like to receive as much as I'm giving out in my relationship with somebody. So this feels really, really healing to them, and they are really shocked by it as well, because they've been subconsciously emanating patterns of self-sacrifice where they've just been giving. Especially I'm seeing with the root chakra, this started in their childhood, which is why it's really hard for them to identify that they're even doing it. But I feel they had this some sense of sadness within their relationships, and you really help identify what's going on for them with that and like how they can kind of overcome that, because I feel like they just had this like hidden part in them that really wanted healing, like this inner child part of them that was wanting healing for the things they've gone through in the past. And I just feel like they've always made other people's needs more important than their own. And I think that this is something that you really help them to unravel and realize that it's okay and it's safe to be in partnership with somebody where you can receive as much as you give. And because of being with you, like they end up healing from their past. Like they genuinely end up healing something that was put into place in their childhood. And they really start to know what it feels like to have their needs met in relationship. And this is like wild to them. They're like, wow, this is what it feels like. This is great. I thought the relationships always had to be like where I had to overgive and self-sacrifice kind of thing. And so coming into balance for them is going to feel kind of strange, but you're really going to kind of literally hold their hand as they go through that rebalancing energy. And as they heal from their past, you'll be there for them. Because the interesting thing is they're coming up as the fire fairy. So it's like they're a very confident person. They're very confident. They've got a lot going for them. And I think that they don't really show this vulnerable side very often. They only really show it to you and like in certain occasions with other people. But I think that the majority of the time they're actually more just focusing on other people's pain and suffering and you know, challenges. And they hold space for others, and you know, they're like the first person that their friend calls if they're in a crisis, because they know that this person will always be there for them. Like they have this reliability and this stability, like that I was picking up in the strength card. They have this ability to just be there for people no matter what, kind of like unconditionally. And yeah, they're just like super genuinely loved by their community, and like their friends and family like just genuinely adore them and love them. But they had this pain deep inside of them that wasn't being seen, because they kind of put on this mask of like as if everything's fine and that they're just really happy and they're really confident and they're kind of like they're fire fairy, like they're really attractive and magnetic and charming, and people are like, wow, this person's really cool. And you know, they're always doing things. They're always like, they're not someone to just not spend their time doing something. They're always spending their time doing creative projects or working or their hobbies or helping other people or being there for someone. They're like always busy. So I think that you really help them to like slow down and enter into more of a meditative state where it's like, hey, you're allowed to just be instead of having to do. You don't always have to be in the active motion of doing and doing and doing, because I think that was like becoming an addiction for them. I'm getting sort of like they were in this mode of avoiding their feelings through being really busy and doing a lot of creative actions and, you know, travel and like, let's go on an adventure. Let's go, I'm going to go like, you know, do this, hike this mountain for 5 days or whatever. I feel like they were just like really in the world, experiencing the world. And that was their way of coping. And it's really interesting because I feel like you have the opposite energy, actually, where your way of coping is like retreating into your inner world, not retreating into the external world and like kind of, you know, no. I think your version of this is like going inwards and kind of like spending a lot of time contemplating and meditating and like maybe being at home or on your own or alone in nature. So you really help balance them out, and they start to be like, wow, okay, I can actually spend time meditating and reflecting, and this isn't scary, and I have someone here who can actually genuinely hold space for me. And that's something that they haven't had before. Like they have not really felt safe to let people in very often. Like they really have this strong energy that is hard for people to penetrate. And it's also because they have this energy of like, I've always got everything put together. Like, I'm so put together, why would anyone need to hold space for me? Like, I'm here to hold space for others. I'm already doing great. But then it's like, you can see them and you see that little part in them that's like, wait a minute, this part in you is like suffering, you know? And so it's like, you really help them to just heal and let go of that kind of mask of coping strategy of like trying to pretend like they're always doing super great all the time. Because I feel like with that fire fairy, it's like almost, you know, they can't not pretend like everything's fine. Like it's really hard for them to like be like, you know what, I'm not doing great today, because it just something about the way that they were raised with that root chakra thing. It's like they don't want to be a burden to people. They don't want to be like complaining about life. They're like, you know what, there's so much to be grateful for. So it's like it's coming from a really good place. And oh my gosh, you just have so much time for this person because you're like, wow, how did I find just such most beautiful human on this earth? And so it's like, you're like, of course I want to hold space for you while you're healing this. And I just think that they really blossom as a human, like being in relationship with you, and so do you as well. Like, but you both blossom for being in relationship with each other, and it's also clear to see in people around you both, like you're like, wow, this relationship seems really healthy and good for you guys. So I feel like the other way that it's sort of like vice versa, where this person is also going to help you come out of your shell a little bit more and come into the world a bit more and kind of open up a bit and sort of become a little bit less of a hermit is what I'm getting. Like they're going to help you kind of embrace adventure and maybe get out and travel or go into nature more, or maybe take up more physical activities or something like this, where it's going to be a very positive influence on you. And I think you're going to really like it because it's going to feel very fun. It's going to feel very fun to do these things and to kind of, like I said, you're going to feel a lot more embodied and grounded in this relationship because you're going to be like, wow, that's right. I need to actually live in the earth plane as well. Because I think you just like float around in these different, like I said, different dimensions. So what is it healing for you with focus? Like, you know, with the third eye here, I feel like this is healing your self-image. I think that there's something about who you were as a child versus who you are now as a grown-up soul, you know, a grown-up being. I feel like there's this real contrast between, you know, you might have that ugly duckling syndrome. That's what I'm feeling is going to heal with this person, is the feeling of being like an ugly duckling. Like you might have really felt like you didn't fit in as a kid or within your family, or your appearance or something like this was some kind of source of like insecurity. And I feel like whilst other people, like people see you on the outside, like I said, as this like mystical being, like you have this really deep beauty within you, Spirit saying like you have a beauty that is very real and it's very like otherworldly. Like you have an otherworldly beauty to you. Like you look like an elf or an angel or something. And it's just like, whoa, this person is just like beautiful on this like different wavelength. It's just like another level of beauty. But for some reason, I feel like you don't really see it in yourself, or there's something missing or distorted about your perception of yourself. And this relationship's really going to heal you because it's going to make you feel very secure. Like you're not going to feel like you're comparing yourself to other people or anything like that. Like it's going to make you feel really seen for who you are and really feel like, wow, who I am is really lovable and it's enough. And I think you're just going to really feel like you belong. Like I said, like you're going to feel like you belong. And I think that's a feeling you did not have as you were growing up. You know, and you also might have been quite isolated when you met this person as well. Like you might not have had many friends or connections around you, whereas I feel like this person's far more like surrounded by people's energies. And I think that that's going to be actually quite good for you and help you heal as well, because we can, like, I think that Spirit's saying you had to learn your new self-image. Like you're learning a new self-image for yourself, because the self-image that you had kind of like cemented in wasn't an accurate one. It was full of distortions with the third eye. And you know, it might be as simple as like you can't see how beautiful you are even though you're incredibly beautiful. And it's like you might still feel really bad about yourself or your appearance, even though it's like, what are you talking about? You're like freaking so beautiful in this very special way, you know? It could be something like that, where it's like it really helps you with your self-image, but it's something about your self-image. Maybe it's you getting the confidence. Like I think this person really helps you with confidence and recognizing that you are amazing in your own unique way. And the fact that you don't fit in makes you more valuable, not less valuable. And I think that you knew these things as wisdom, but it's like you're going to really know these things being in a very embodied way. And I think that the thing is that through this person's eyes, like they really do see you as just so incredible. And I think it's just like going to be really healing to just be around someone that looks at you through those eyes every day, that sees you in this otherworldly beauty that you hold, and that sees you as so gifted and talented in the ways that you are uniquely gifted and talented. And I do feel like I said, I feel like you're going to meet people through this person coming into your life. Like you're going to have friends through this person, or you're going to really get along with their family members or their mother or something, and you're going to be like, wow, how did you get such a nice family, or how did you get such nice friends, or something like this. You're going to feel really at home with their people, and their people are going to be really accepting of you. And I think that's going to be something like, for example, maybe you don't really resonate with a lot of people around you at this time, or you've had a lot of issues with your family of origin or something like this, where there's some kind of loneliness that I feel in your energy field, that being around this person is going to make you feel really connected to humans and to like humanity and community. With the focus card for you as well and what you're healing, I think it's also about you getting really a lot of clarity from this relationship. And it's because first and foremost, your self-image heals and you start to see yourself clearly in the truth of who you are and in your power and in your value, rather than devaluing yourself subconsciously and having this distorted self-image. It's like you're going to finally be seeing yourself clearly, and therefore seeing your potential clearly, and being like, wait a minute, I'm really talented. And I think that this relationship is going to heal you in such a way that it's like you might have the confidence to really put yourself out there in a different way, or to really pursue like a different career. Like the confidence that this relationship is going to give you might put things into a different perspective for you, where you're like, wait a minute, maybe I want to become a psychic or a tarot reader or something like this. And maybe you didn't have the confidence before to really realize like how talented you are. And then having this connection for some reason, it's just activating this sense of really seeing yourself clearly and having it put into this crystal clear focus where it's like, I'm almost seeing you were seeing yourself out of focus before. It was like out of focus. And then having this person come in, it like clicks it into focus and you can see yourself clearly and you can see what's available to you clearly as well. So I see you seeing a lot more possibilities for yourself and for your life and being like, wow, the earth can actually be somewhere that I can enjoy being instead of somewhere that you're constantly kind of flying away from and floating away from. I also feel like this person's going to pursue you largely in the energy because there's often kind of a push-pull energy within relationships, partnerships. So it's like, I do feel like this person's going to kind of pursue you and feel like you are someone that they are pursuing, and you might feel a little bit more, I don't know, like I feel like they might be a little bit more comfortable to jump in at first, and you might be a little bit like, whoa, this is really intense, this energy, because it is going to be intense for you because you have been living in these higher dimensions for so long that the amount that this person is going to ground you and bring you onto this earth plane, you're going to be like, whoa, where have I been? You're going to be like, where have I been? I have not been down here much at all, have I? And you're going to realize how much you've been in these higher dimensions. So yeah, this person's going to really ground you and you're going to really like that. But I do feel like at the beginning, like they're going to be pulling on you more. And you're going to be a bit like, oh no, I don't know. And you're going to be a little bit more like, I don't know about this. But then once you guys get really locked into that infinity symbol energy lock that you're going to be in together, where your connection is like so solid that it's just like locked into place and there's this real strong energy alchemy work going on between you. Once that is in place, I think then you're going to be a lot more kind of like comfortable with the energies that are being explored and having to kind of help your person a little bit more with that depth of emotional healing that starts when you've been in a relationship with someone for some time. So it's like, I feel like they might be more in their comfort zone at the beginning when you're like going on dates or going on adventures or you're meeting each other's people, whatever it might be. And then further in, when the real emotional work starts, it's like, that's where you really take over. You really take up like all the limelight. Then you're like in your power and you're in your element, and your person is like, wow, you're really talented at this. You're really good at this. Like, because you are, you have a natural kind of therapist, psychic kind of energy. That's very, very healing, natural healing energy, divine priestess energy or priest. Okay, so let's see final messages for your relationship together with this person. Oh, look, you have the Page of Cups. Such innocent love that you share between, like such pure love. So based on just genuine love. And they have the Moon. Yeah, see, they have a hidden depth, an inner depth. I tried to say inner and hidden at the same time. Sometimes that happens when I channel. I start to try to say two words at once because I want to bring it through. Anyway, they have like a hidden inner depth that they don't really show to the world, or that somehow, like, most people just see them as this fire fairy energy, you know, regardless of gender, just this fire fairy, like very attractive, passionate, kind of embodied, active, you know, creative soul that's very confident and, you know, is always living life to the fullest. But then it's like they have this depth to them with the Moon, like they have these hidden fears, these hidden things that are wanting to heal, and that's why they're so deeply attracted to you, because you offer that depth in relationship that they've been looking for. And I feel like with the Page of Cups, like this is really such a happy relationship for you. Like I feel this is really going to set some element of your inner child free. Like I feel like your inner child is really going to feel very safe in this connection. And I actually think this is for you more significant in that I don't think, as in the safety element of this connection, I feel like is way more significant for you than for your partner. Although it is significant for your partner, like I said, in the moon healing energy, that work that they are going to be able to do with you. But what I'm trying to say is that for you, I feel like you haven't experienced safety or something like this within relationship. That's been something that hasn't always been a guarantee, you know, there's been something about that hasn't always been a guarantee. So having someone be so solid and reliable and loving and having that infinity bond, you know, that union that you have is so strong. Like with the Strength card, it's like, whoa, you know, this really sets you free in a way to just like dance and be playful and let your inner child out. Just like, wow, just really giving yourself what you need to thrive. And the thing is that I feel like you didn't have this as a child. Like there's something about the energy that you can cultivate with this person where it's like you did not have this as a child in ways that you needed it. So it's very, very relieving for your soul and for your inner child. It's very healing. It's like, oh my gosh, I'm finally home. I'm finally safe. I'm finally here. Yeah, it's really beautiful. Oh, group 1. Okay, I feel like that is the end of your reading, but I so enjoyed tuning in for you today. And if you would like to check out more of my work, then please check the links in the description below. I do have some readings available at the moment. So yeah, much love, group 1. Okay, so group 2, the energy that I'm getting from this citrine is like this beautiful smell of fresh flowers, like this floral smell, and it smells so amazing and so fresh. So I feel like this is like maybe you're gonna smell really nice, maybe they're gonna, maybe you're both gonna smell really nice. I don't know why it's making me laugh, but I feel this energy is so fresh and like fun and vibrant and yeah, just really, really nice energy. Okay, so let's see what cards you get. Wow, so you got the 8 of Cups. So I feel like this relationship is going to be coming in for both of you when you're at a time of like, gosh, like really having gone through a lot in life. Maybe being at the depths of a healing or having just walked away from like maybe having to leave something behind that was really hard. Like I feel like both of you, because this is the energy of the relationship between you both. So it's like you've both had to just leave something really painful behind. Or maybe once you meet each other, you're called to leave something really painful behind quite quickly and kind of move on from something that was not aligned. So it's like leaving behind a relationship that is not aligned, but it was a very painful decision to do that kind of thing. Or leaving behind a hometown because it's time to grow and become, you know, and find out the next version of your life, but maybe there's grief of what you've left behind, and then you like meet this person in this new place. It's something like that where you both have left something behind or you both gotten to a point in your healing. And the thing is that it's going to feel like a miracle, your relationship together, because you both really need it. You know, like this earth plane is not easy. Oh my gosh, like it is intense down here. So sometimes we really get tested kind of like, you know, to that point of feeling like I can't even go on anymore. And I think that in some way, both of you are going to be having felt that before you meet. You're going to be feeling like this is too much. Like, what is this place? Spirit Earth is intense. And I think that both of you are going to feel like this light at the end of a really hard time, like the sunrise again after the darkness. It's going to be like, wow, it's going to feel so bright and sparkly in comparison to the places that you've both been. And I feel like it really elevates you both out of this sort of really painful energy. Like it might be grief, you might have lost somebody. There's something very painful that you both have individually gone through in your own ways. And they're different to one another, but when you come together, you find solace in that shared history in a way. And, you know, like, well, it's not a shared history, but in a similar history that you've both come from. But the thing is that it really marks a time of renewal in your relationship where you're really now getting the miracle for all that you've gone through. Like, so what I mean by this is the 8 of Cups is followed by the 9 of Cups. So the 9 of Cups is like our wishes coming true and our contentment, you know, in the world. Like, oh, finally this thing has come in, and it comes after a cycle with the cups that has been through a lot. Like the 8 of Cups is kind of this point of culmination after you've already gone through the 5 of Cups, you know, the 4 of Cups, the 5 of Cups, the 6 of Cups, the 7 of Cups, and then you're finally getting to the 8 of Cups where it's this point of like walking away or reaching a point of something happening in your healing, like something massive changing, or, you know, a relationship ending, or you're confronting grief or loss, or you're just outgrowing an old version of your life even. So I feel like it's this transition period, like you're both kind of in the 8 of Cups energy when you meet, but then it quickly turns into the 9 of Cups and then the 10 of Cups, which are like my favorite cards. So the 10 of Cups is like ultimate kind of divine union and happiness and contentment. So yeah, there's a very strong kind of contrast in the energies that you were in before you meet and then after you meet. So let's pull a chakra card for each of you. So these are just the 7 major chakras, main chakras. I'm just going to pull one for you and one for them. So one for you in this relationship. So wow, so you are the heart. Wow. Isn't that amazing? And one for them. So they are the third eye. Really interesting. So I want to pull some clarifiers now. So we can pull one for you again, for you in this relationship. Wow, the Swan. Transformation and trusting the psychic gifts. You know, and swans mate for life. They always make me think of twin flames. So for some of you, this could also be a twin flame connection. And then they're showing up as the spider, creative projects. Number 15. Wow. So I'm feeling a strong mirrored energy here. And it does give me kind of twin flame energies. If you don't resonate, that's okay. But it's mirroring so much that it's kind of doing my head in. Like, it's kind of like giving me twin flame energy because of how strong the mirroring is. That it almost is, I'm seeing, like, imagine two mirrors held up against each other, and then it's like, what do you even see? Like, there's so much mirroring that it's like, what am I even looking at anymore? That's the kind of energy I'm getting. Like, it's so intense. This connection is intense, okay? This is an intense connection, but it's because there's so much mirroring. It's like the energy that you have, they have, the energy that they have, you have. And I'm like trying to separate, like, well, what's yours and what's theirs? But it's like they constantly are bleeding into each other and like threading into each other. And it's so interconnected. And that's what I mean by the mirroring. It's like you have something and they have something, and they have something and you have something. And it's like, wow. So yeah, so it's like you both have this energy. This is the thing. You both have a very strong healing energy, a very strong psychic energy, and a very strong creative energy. Like, you both have all of it. You both have all of it. So there's something about it, like maybe you guys will feel a little bit like twins, or you'll be like, whoa, we have so much in common. It might be like you might be very similar, but also I'm seeing it simultaneously, you could be absolute opposites in certain ways as well. And that somehow really works between you. Like, you both have a lot of similarities, and you have certain things that you're very much opposites in. Like, maybe you're an introvert and they're an extrovert, and somehow it just like absolutely works completely harmoniously, even though people might think, how does this work? How do you make this kind of harmonious? But something about the opposite energy creates like a lot of tension and attraction between you both, like how they say opposites attract. And that's why it's kind of like doing my head in, because it's like you're either exactly the same or you're opposites, and there's no in between. It's a very intense kind of connection that I'm picking up on here. Like I said, it feels very divine, very spiritual, very much like you're mirroring each other, kind of like twin flame energy. So I think that when you meet this person, the thing that they feel the most renewed by is that they have this huge creative surge of inspiration after they meet you. Like, I feel like to this person, you are a muse. You know, a muse, M-U-S-E. You're like their muse. You bring so much deep inspiration into their life. And I think before they met you, because they were going through Eight of Cups energy, like abandonment, betrayal, pain, loss, grief, like cycles ending, it was a lot of energy, and they kind of lost their creative spark a little bit. They kind of lost their energy of creativity, and that was really terrifying for them. Like, they felt very despondent about that. They're like, well, if I can't create my art and do my work in the world, then like, what is the point of living? Like, it really is black and white to them in that way. Like, they're very passionate, creative. So when they meet you, it's like, oh, thank gosh. Like, their creativity comes back. And I think that within this relationship, you really foster like a support energy for them. You really support them to pursue their creative energies or their creative life. And I feel like that's very significant to them, because for some reason, maybe as a child, like, they weren't supported in their creativity, or, you know, that classic thing of like, well, why don't you get a real job because you can't be a creative or you can't be an artist. It's that kind of energy. Whereas you really recognize that their creativity like is a real job, or it is very valid. It is recognized in your eyes as being enough and valid. Whereas for some reason, I feel like they come from a family where it's like, maybe it wasn't seen as valid for whatever reasons. It was devalued in some way. So it's very nice for them to be around you, because you don't judge them for the fact that they're very eccentric, they're very different, they're very creative, they're very passionate, and they just want to live in this very kind of extreme way. And you're like, okay, let's do it, because you're a very extreme person as well. Like, I feel like you're both intense, you're both passionate, you're both creative, you're both psychic, you're both healers, you're both spiritual, you're both high vibrational. Like, yeah, this is a very strong mirroring energy. So, but for you, it's like there's a strong healing, because the heart is the energy of healing in the energy body, in the chakras. Why do I never get this tribal straight? I don't know. So you have this healing. You're really going to come into your own as a healer, I think, in this relationship, and recognize that you have a very strong heart, a very strong ability to love. And I think you're going to become a little bit of like an expert on relationships or something. As in, like, I feel like maybe before this relationship, you had experienced a lot of relationships that didn't really work out very well, because you're in the Eight of Cups energy when you meet this person. So it's like you have some kind of a history of trauma or things being quite tough relationally. And then I feel like with this person, it's very different, the energy between you both, that you start to be like, wait, maybe I am actually really good at being in a relationship. Maybe I'm actually really good at this. And you start to change your self-image about your relationship style, and you recognize that you just were not well matched in the past, and you were going through karmic cycles of completion with people, and that's not a reflection of actually who you are in relationship and how you are in relationship. So I do see you like going through a very deep healing in terms of, I don't know, realizing that you're really good at relationships. For some reason, you might have gotten in your head somewhere along the lines that maybe you're not very good at relationships, or you're not successful at it for some reason. And this person is definitely going to make you realize that you are successful at relationships. You're really good at relationships. Like when you have the compatibility with somebody, then it can become very effortless and easy. So with the Swan card for you, that's saying that this relationship is going to bring through like a complete transformation within your life. Like you are going to look different from being with this person. Like physically, your appearance is going to change. That's really interesting. I also feel like this energy is long term, but it's very, very intense. It's very, very intense. And it might even be like so intense that it's hard to look into each other's eyes when you first meet. Or it's like, it's so intense that you can only look into each other's eyes for like a minute. And then it's like, whoa, this is too strong. And it's like activating things. You might have very physical, like you're going to have very, very interesting things happen when you meet this person. Like maybe heart openings or activations where like your physical body is like shaking, or you're having sensations like in your heart as it's opening, or you're seeing like images or orbs or flashes, or you're having past life memories, or you're downloading all of this stuff. You're activating each other in this very psychic way. So you're going to be having a lot of stuff to happen that like is very unusual. Like maybe when you first meet, you can't sleep at all. Like it's like, oh my gosh, this is so strong of an energy. Or yeah, it just might be quite intense, like the intensity that you feel for each other straight away, or the intensity of the way that, like even just the intensity, like I said, it was like looking into each other's eyes. It's like that could be so intense that it's like hard to even do. So there's something about you both going to kind of figure each other out a bit at first, and like figure out how to ground this energy in this earth plane. Because like I said, it does feel very highly spiritual, like a twin flame kind of bond, because there's all these like crazy magical things happening around you both, and these things that are just like occurring, this synchronicities, these magical events, these physical body sensations, these heart openings, these psychic downloads, these gifts activating just through being in the presence of one another. So for you though, especially, like for some reason your physical appearance is going to change when you're with this person. There's some kind of change that's going to happen where it's like you're going to look unrecognizable in some way from being around this person. Like you're going to become unrecognizable. Your life is going to become unrecognizable, like in a good way. And all of these ways, I mean, in a positive way, by the way, in the best kind of way, your life is going to become unrecognizable to you. And you're going to reach new heights that you might not have thought was actually possible, because this person really makes you believe in magic in a way that you haven't never fully believed in before. Like I feel like you believed in magic. Always, always, always. You have a magical energy and you are a magical soul. And same with the person that you're going to become in relationship with, or you are in relationship with. But there's something different about when you're in relationship with each other. It's like the magic that you both have access to then is really, really strong. And with the transformation card, the Swan, transformation, trusting the psychic gifts, like I feel like there might be certain like different layers or levels that you get to within the relationship with this person, because like I said, there's such an intense energy bond that it might not all come through straight away. Like there might be levels and layers that you kind of have to acclimatize to with each other and kind of ground the energy together. So yeah, I don't think the relationship is going to be revealed to you all at once. Like I do think that there's actually going to be like levels and layers of it that you kind of go through, like cycles, maybe like 3 years of one cycle, and then it changes and you go through this massive transformation together as a couple and individually, and then it's like, no, this whole new era of our life is born and now it looks totally different. And I think this is going to happen again and again as part of your ascension process together. because I feel like you and this person are ascension partners. I think that's the best way that I could put it. It's like you're meant to help each other ascend, and you're meant to be together with each other through that ascension journey. And there might be periods of time where it's like so intense. Maybe you need more alone time, or you need more like, there might be some issues around boundaries, around sort of blending in with each other, because you do have this sort of, the best way I can put it is like a twin flame union, where it's like you might sometimes struggle to know like, where do I begin and you, and where do I end? Or where do I end and you begin? It's like there's something about this merging that happens within your souls, like when you're around each other, that it might be like you kind of have to figure out how to manage that, because that might become a little bit confusing or distorting or like all-encompassing. Like you might find that each other's energy is just like so all-encompassing that it's like, whoa, I still have to kind of get on with my life and my own pursuits and things like this. And I think that, like I said, you're going to work out the energies over time. Like this is a slow burn, a long-term kind of process of unraveling. Like even just the first 3 years might be just figuring out how to be in each other's energy field, because it's so intense and it activates so deeply all of this spiritual ascension work. So you might also find that when you come into union with this person with 8 of Cups, certain things in your life you have to let go of. Like because you're ascension partners, it means that when you come together, like you will instantly start to ascend. And when we ascend, we necessarily have to let go of things. Like we just do. It's kind of like a law of nature. It's like when I'm filming on my camera, I have to delete old footage so that I can make space for new footage. You know, it's like, it's just how things work. So with the 8 of Cups here, it's like this really makes me think about your ascension journey together, and the fact that you're both going to really help each other to let go at the deepest level of like letting go. Like you're both going to have to let go of a lot of things because you're going to those highest heights of ascension together, and because your relationship naturally instantly starts to ascend you and upgrade you in like a major way. So you're both going to be very deeply bonded to each other from the moment that you meet, but because there's an astral connection already in play, like that's just so deep, and it's an ancient connection that you guys have together. Like you really are so connected that, like I said, on the earth plane, it might be hard for you to be like, wait, I need to remember to have boundaries and, you know, not fall into kind of any patterns of like codependence or something, or enmeshment, because the energy, it might be just, like I said, very intoxicating, and also you both mirror each other so strongly that it might be hard to be like, wait, what's going on here? Like, what's my thing? What's your thing? And it's just so kind of trippy. Like I keep tuning in and then getting like tripped out and feeling like I'm staring into like a dimension of mirrors, and I'm like, what am I even looking at? So there's like, yeah, there's a very intense kind of energy here, but it's beautiful. I think the main challenge of your relationship is not so much your relationship. Actually, I think your relationship is going to be very easy and blissful and harmonious. The thing that I feel is going to be challenging between you both is that when you meet each other, and forevermore after that point, you will not be able to avoid ascension. So what I mean by that is like sometimes in life we can outgrow like a friend. Maybe we'll just use that example. It's like maybe we outgrow a friend, and it's like, oh, I really love this person, but I just really outgrown them, and like, you know, it's just really not working anymore, and we're going in different directions. And there can be this part of us, this earth part of us, that really wants to like hold on to that friend, and we're like, no, I don't want to evolve. Like, I don't know. There's like a part of us that doesn't want to evolve and kind of wants to avoid that ascension because we want to stay in relationship with someone. We don't want to have to let them go. Okay. So it's like, that's the tension that I feel in your relationship, is like, there might be the parts of you with the 8 of Cups that like doesn't want to have to walk away from this person, or from this place, or from this town, wherever it might be, whatever it might be. There's a part of you that's going to be like, I don't want to have to let go. This is too painful. Like, I don't want to let go. I don't want to have to walk away from this relationship with this person. But the thing is that being with this person accelerates your ascension to such a degree that it's like there is no avoiding it anymore. There's no avoiding the things that you might want to like, you know, just try to avoid or try to drag it out for as long as possible. I don't know if anyone else does, but I do all the time. I'm like, I don't want to have to let go of this person. Come on. But then it's like, okay, finally, I'm like, okay, yeah, true. I got to do this. So that's what I mean. It's like there's not going to be any space for avoidance, and that might feel a little bit tough. Like you might feel a little bit angry at the universe sometimes. Like, why does it have to be so painful? Why do I have to let go of this person as well? Why do I have to move again? Why do I have to get rid of all my material possessions and not have attachments to my materials? Like, you're really going to learn about not having attachments to things. Like, you're going to have to, because you're going to go through so many cycles of reinvention almost, I heard reincarnation while you're in this one lifetime. It's like you keep, your energy is so together, is so fertile and abundant. It's like you keep creating new versions of reality around yourself. So wow, it's really powerful. All right, so let's see, what are they going to love the most about you in relationship? The Three of Swords. Okay, and what are you going to love the most about them in relationship? Oh, the King of Swords. Okay, so what are they going to love the most about you in relationship? Wow, interesting. Your healing energy. The Three of Swords in the heart chakra is sort of undeniable healing energy. Like, you are a healer. You don't have to even do anything to be this healer. You just are a healer. You really don't even try. And you just heal. You just, being around you is so healing. Like, they can't believe how healing it is to be around you. Like, they did not think that this was physically possible, incarnate on this earth. Like, they're like, what? How is it possible to be this deeply healed and loved by somebody? Like, they're just going to think you have the most beautiful heart on this whole planet, and they're going to be like, how is this possible? And being around you is like pieces of them get put back together again. Like, pieces of them are just healing and mending without them really even having to try. And what you're going to love so much about them is like the intellectual discussions that you have. Like, they have a brilliant mind. They're a genius. Like, they're so intelligent. Like, you're going to be like, wow, this person is so freaking smart. Like, I feel like they have this really brilliance to them, like a genius to them. Like, maybe they're an inventor, or they're an artist, or a creative designer, or a builder. Like, they, some kind of architect. Like, they just are creating something in some way, and they're incredibly good at what they do. And they're just incredibly gifted and bright, and they have such an intelligence to them, and you have such depth of conversations, and you can really talk about anything with this person and they would understand it. And you also speak your own language, where it's like you can be saying something that might sound like gibberish to someone else, but when you tell this person, they're going to like completely resonate. And you're just going to always have like, you're going to have your own words that you invent between each other that just means something to you, or your own phrases, or your own personal jokes, like your inside jokes, and you're going to be so close. That's going to be kind of weird for people to hang out with you sometimes, because they're going to be like, man, these people like speak their own language or something. Like, you're going to be so connected that, like I said, like people might find it hard to kind of like, can I come in there as well? Yeah, so you're going to really love this about them, like just their intelligence, their creativity, the things that they build, their art. And they're going to love how healing you are, how emotionally intelligent you are. Like, I think that you're a lot more emotionally intelligent than them. Not that they aren't, but I think that you naturally embody just a little bit more of that feminine kind of healing wisdom. And they have a little bit more of that masculine kind of creative, like, power. Like, let's go build this thing. And you're like, let's heal this thing. But you both have both of it in you. Like, this is the thing with the with this twin flame kind of dynamic that I'm picking up in you guys. It's like you both are both. So yeah, it's kind of I can't really say like one is one and the other is the other, because it's like you're both at the same time, and it's really, really cool. But on the surface, like I said, you have more of that healing energy, but deep down this person has more of that healing energy, and deep down you have this brilliant genius intellect kind of energy in you as well. So it's like you both have both. So yeah, but they will be super drawn to your heart and how loving you are, how deeply compassionate you are. And I think that sometimes you have compassion in times and they might struggle with compassion. Like, they might sometimes get kind of like, King of Swords can be like a bit cut off from our compassion or our hearts, our emotions, and kind of, you know, being a bit judgmental or cynical, or being like, people should have tried harder, they're not doing it enough. And I think that you're really good at like bringing things back through the heart and filtering back through the heart and being like, yeah, well, we can always have compassion, and kind of, you really help this person to learn about compassion, and also they help you to become a little bit less emotional. Like, sometimes we have to make decisions that are from like that are painful emotionally, but that doesn't mean that it's the wrong decision. Like, I think that they're really going to help you with that, with like making the right decision, even if it's painful, and even if your emotions, like I was saying, how it's like, you know, we can get attached to people that we don't want to outgrow them. Like I was saying, I do that. And I feel like that's the kind of example where it's like they would really help you to kind of be able to move past that feeling of wanting to hold on, so that you can like move forward in that ascension journey and realize that it's in the highest good of all, and it's in the best interest of all for you to kind of let go and make that hard decision. And I think that the way that they see you in your spiritual path, it gives you a lot of strength, and it gives you a lot of hope, and it gives you a lot of courage to make the right decisions, because it can be very hard to make a tough decision if every single person in our life is doubting us and is telling us we're making the wrong decision, right? But it's like if we have that one person who can really see us for the decision that we're making, that it is right for us, it can give us so much strength. Like, it can give us so much strength. And that's what I feel for you. It's like, you know, it's kind of the energy where, for example, it's very cliched, but it's kind of the energy where it's like, imagine that you're studying at university because it's what your parents wanted for you, and then you meet this person and they like encourage you to leave that, or to leave that career or whatever, and pursue your true calling in life. And it's like everyone else is telling you that's a terrible idea. What are you doing? You're throwing your life away. But it's like this person really sees you and they really get you and they understand this and they understand how important it is for you, and they help you work through those challenging emotions of like, do I really throw this all behind, like away? Do I really do this? Am I really strong enough? Am I really brave enough for this? So I feel like there is some kind of like evolutionary pressure that this relationship like puts onto you and onto them as well, but in different ways and in the same ways at the same time. Oh my God, your connection. But yeah, for you, I feel like the evolutionary pressure is like something about becoming a little bit less emotional, like emotionally connected and attached to things and people and things like that. And like, kind of like, I feel like you have this unconditional loving energy in you where you can really just love anyone and forgive them for anything. And you're really good at doing that. And I feel like this person with the King of Swords and the third eye is much more like seeing through that and being like, no, if something has, you know, it's not a good thing to unconditionally love someone who's abusive. Like, that's a bad thing to do. You shouldn't unconditionally love someone who's abusive because that puts you in harm's way. And they kind of really help you to understand about boundaries and like how to kind of realign this unconditionally loving energy that you have. It's not about putting it away or making it go away, but it's just about realizing that there needs to be more of a balance. And then it's like you help this person balance out by bringing more unconditional love and forgiveness into their hearts, because they have a very black and white view of the world of like right and wrong. And if someone does the wrong thing, then they don't have any compassion for that person. But it's like you really help kind of bring more of the nuance into life, and like, well, you know, there's always things that are going on for everyone, and kind of helping them to understand that from a different perspective. So in certain ways, like, you're kind of overly emotional and they're kind of under emotional. Like, they might be a bit more blocked off from their hearts and their emotions, and you might be a little bit like so always in your heart that it's like hard for you to ever do something as simple as put up a boundary because you don't want to hurt someone's feelings. And they kind of really help you to be like, come on, you just have to do it. Like, sometimes you have to be sometimes, you know what it is, they're going to help you be like, sometimes you have to be the villain in someone's life, and that's okay. Like, you can't always be the hero and the angel and the healer and the guide and the beautiful. Sometimes you're going to be someone's villain. You're going to do something that hurts someone, that pisses them off, and it's because it's just how it is. It's in the highest good. Like, sorry, I have to do this. I have to leave you. I have to do this. I have to put up this boundary. I have to be not available to you anymore. And it's like, in that moment, you might be like the villain, the worst person ever. And that might be a very uncomfortable feeling for you. And I feel like they really help you to overcome that and be like, you know what? You're allowed to be someone's villain. You're allowed to be the bad guy sometimes. You're allowed to do the thing that rocks the boat or pisses someone off. And that doesn't mean that it's the wrong decision just because someone has a reaction to it. And I think they really help you find that strength to like maybe be a little bit more of a heartbreaker and put up more of those boundaries and say no to people, and kind of do it whilst you maintain this very deeply healing, compassionate energy that you have, that you deeply are. But it's like, it's coming into balance and it's coming more into power when you have that ability to set the boundaries and to kind of be the heartbreaker or be the villain, because I think it's something you've shied away from, and it's like you really, really, really overly don't want to hurt someone's feelings. Whereas like for them, I think you can help them to realize like that it's not always okay to hurt people's feelings, because I think with the King of Swords, like, they can have a shadow energy maybe sometimes of like lashing out at the world or at people, or of being really judgmental and be like, you know, thinking that people aren't doing well enough or that they haven't tried good enough, and you're like, come on, like, this person's trying, and they're like, well, they didn't do good enough, and you kind of really, I think, are going to help them over time to kind of like soften in that heart space of theirs, and they're going to realize that they hold a lot of bitterness and resentment that's coming from a place of pain, and that they can let that go, and then the world won't piss them off so much. So you're both kind of like balancing each other out. Like, you're kind of super, like I said, super emotional energy, and they're kind of like a little bit under emotional energy, and you both help each other through the wisdom that you each have. So let's pull another card. Yeah, like a little bit more about what's healing, maybe. Well, that's right, I said what. So for you, Chariot, and for them, the Fool. Yeah, so they're going to be in touch with so much more creative energy than they have been before. I think that's something they're going to just love about you. And this connection is like the Fool. They're in touch with so much more creativity. And I think as well, maybe there's something about execution of creative projects. Like before they met you, they might have had a million creative ideas, and just like I said, they have this genius energy in them. Like they are really intelligent and they are really creative and they are destined for success. Like I feel like your person is destined for a lot of wealth as well. Like they, with the King of Swords, like they could have a lot of money, a huge empire that they would want to share with you. So it's like there's something though about before they met you, like all of this was with the third eye, like all of these creative ideas were just like kind of like in the clouds. They were in the astral. They weren't being sort of like materialized down here into the physical plane. So there's something about your connection when they meet you, you really help them to actually materialize their dreams. And I think that once they're with you, they actually start to like maybe work on some creative projects and then become really successful over the course of time from being with you. Like I think that you might meet them and they're like not that rich, but then after being with you for a few years, it's like, well, they become like a billionaire or something because their creative project like really takes off and they have this incredible kind of foundation of the support of your relationship to really help them access something. Because there's something about their energy before where it wasn't taking off. Like they had so much potential, but they weren't realizing it. They didn't have the support that they needed to like actually make something happen. And there is something that shifts when they come into relationship with you where it's like, oh, now I actually have what I need to like make this happen. And they will make it happen. And I think that's going to be so new to them and so different for their life. And they felt so frustrated and held back in the past. So they're going to feel a lot freer being able to be this successful person that they've sort of come here to be. And like I said, I do think there's some element of money here that I think they're meant to make a lot of money from this creative project or from their creative genius in some way and kind of be really well known. Like if they're a sculptor or something, they'll become like internationally known sculptor because they're so talented at it. It's like something like that where it's like, wow, this person's really gifted and talented. And I think, yeah, they really bloom being with you. There's something about where, like I said, they weren't really reaching their potential before they met you. Something about it was staying in the Astro. It was staying in their dreams. It was staying in their visions of like, maybe it could be this, maybe it could be that. But I think that the thing is that being with you, it really helps them to heal and to like basically put themselves back together again, like the parts of them that were maybe self-sabotaging or that were keeping them small, that were keeping them away from the success that they are really worthy of. Like you helped them to come to terms with the parts of them that needed to be kind of healed and loved and looked after so that they could basically set themselves up for success. And so that's what you've done, and that's what they're so grateful to you for, is that you've really helped them with that because they were really stuck before they met you. And the thing that's coming through with the Chariot for you of kind of like what you're going to heal and also love about the energy that they bring out of you is this real like empowered energy, like I was saying, where it's like you kind of give yourself permission to be a heartbreaker or to like hurt someone's feelings or to put up boundaries or to be a villain in someone's life. Whereas like for some reason before you met this person or before this relationship influenced you energetically and really even activated you, I would say, because there's such a spiritual connection that you have. It's like a deep activation of your soul's energy where you were too timid or shy or something about you were holding yourself back before. And now it's like you're letting yourself be more powerful. You're letting yourself be more bold and wild and risk-taking and adventurous. And you're letting yourself, like I said, be more authentic and kind of like maybe step on some people's toes. Whereas I think, yeah, before this, you were really stuck in a people-pleasing energy before you met this person. And then I think that they really don't respect that people-pleasing energy. Like, because with the King of Swords, I feel like they can be quite blunt with the third eye as well. They can be quite blunt, very truth-telling, very authentic, very like, I don't care if you don't like me, that's fine. That's fine. And they genuinely own that. Like they're one of those people that genuinely doesn't mind if you don't like them, and they will not alter their behavior to be more likable, you know, within reason. But it's like they're not going to become all this fake person because they think that that will make them more likable. They don't have that in them. So it's like being around them my throat chakra is going, but being around them, you're going to really notice that part of you that is like, oh, I really overcompensate with this people-pleasing thing, with really wanting people to like me or really complimenting people too much or, bending over backwards to meet someone's needs, and something about being around them, like they're going to really show you that you do that. They're going to be like, what are you doing? Why are you like, offering to do all this stuff for this person? Like, where is this coming from in you? Like, don't you just want to like do stuff for yourself? Like, they're really going to show you that part in you that you were kind of thinking for some reason. Like, I think it comes from childhood where for some reason this chariot part of you like wasn't really allowed in your life. Like, you weren't allowed to be really bossy, or you weren't allowed to be really, I don't know, the one in charge, or really defiant, or disagreeable. And so those parts of you kind of got a bit repressed. And I think with the 7 energy of the chariot, the 7 is like the crown chakra, where it's like, I really see you setting yourself free. It's setting yourself free through authenticity. Because I feel like when I was saying before about you're letting yourself be a villain, or you're letting yourself be a heartbreaker, that when it's unavoidable to do so, it's because you're not sacrificing yourself anymore and being inauthentic just to make someone else feel more comfortable. You're like, wait, that's actually kind of insane thing to do. And you're realizing the insanity of doing that. And you're realizing that it's way better to just be authentic, even if it hurts someone's feelings or it's a bit uncomfortable at first. It's far more free overall. So I think this relationship really helps you to become authentic. And for some reason, that's something that you've struggled with more. Whereas this person actually, for some reason, hasn't struggled with authenticity very much. Like, I think they've just been very authentic and kind of like blunt, and they've just dealt with the fact that people don't like them sometimes and they trigger people, and that's been a huge theme in their life. Whereas I feel like your energy has been a little bit more avoidant of confrontation and just like wanting to be liked and just wanting to keep the peace, and I'll just say the thing that you want to hear. And I think that that's something that was actually keeping you feeling held back, and certainly keeping you definitely feeling unfulfilled in relationships with the 3 of Swords. So it's like this authenticity that you're really coming into, this allows you to be so much more free. And from that freedom, you feel a sense of fulfillment from your relationships, because you realize that authenticity is what makes relationships feel really good. And between you both in this relationship, like, you will have 100% authenticity. Like, there is a sense of honesty between you both that would shock people. It would shock people how honest you are with each other. And you just say things to each other like it's very honest and open, and it really frees up this sort of passage of communication, and it becomes a standard in which you realize, like, I want to feel this free in all of my relationships. I don't want to feel like I'm cutting off an arm and a leg just to be around someone because I want to fit into to what they want from me. It's like you're realizing that it's so not worth living like that. And I think that having this person not value it really helped break you out of the spell, because, like I said, for some reason you were born into a family that did value this people-pleasing energy in you, and they might have done that consciously or subconsciously, I don't know. But for whatever reason, you got the messages that being a people pleaser was valuable, and that was likable, and that was more lovable than being disagreeable and authentic and whatever the heck it is that you actually are. So coming home to your authenticity is going to make you feel so free, and it's going to up level all of your relationships. And like I said, you might have people that you have to let go of, and you realize, like, oh, I think that you're going to have to let go of relationships where you are people-pleasing and being inauthentic in order to be, keep up with the ascension journey of this relationship with this person. And that's going to be good for you, because it's going to force you to confront these things that when you've been in other relationships, these partners might not have forced you to confront that, because they might have just gone along with this inauthenticity kind of part of you. Whereas this person doesn't go along with it, and they're like, no. I can't have you doing this. Like, this is wrong. But I think that they also have relationships that they will have to let go of when you first meet, because they have some relationships that really aren't, like, they're not, you're going to help them realize that there's heart energy, there's love energy missing from some of their relationships, and they're going to be really having an awakening in their own way about relationships as well. Like, both of you are going to have massive wake-up calls about relationships from the activation of being with each other and realizing, like, when you're with each other, like I said, there's a new standard that's born where you're like, wait a minute, if it can feel this compatible to be with someone, then why would I go and feel so uncomfortable hanging out with this person who I'm completely not compatible with? And you're going to be like, wait a minute, whoa. And it's almost like you're going to wake up from a spell or from a dream. And for them, like, they are going to realize that they don't have very loving, caring people in their life. Like, I feel a lot of competitive energy around them when you first meet. Like, they might have a lot of friends that are more competitive, more like kind of image based, like, what have you achieved in life, and kind of thing like this. And the spiritual depth of your connection is going to make this person be like, wait, these relationships are really shallow and I don't actually connect with this person at all. So there's going to be a huge awakening that happens for you within relationships at the beginning, especially because you're both having to end like toxic relationships or relationships that were based in karma or based in inauthenticity or based in some kind of an illusion. Because I think for you, it's like very much inauthenticity, like you were not being authentic in your connections and therefore it wasn't fulfilling you. But for this person, it's more like they were being authentic, but they were having all of these secret competitions and jealousy and rivalries happening with people they were friends with. And it's like those people didn't really have their back. Like there's a sense of like they would stab them in the back at any moment kind of thing. And they would steal their ideas and they would, that kind of thing. So it's like you really help each other to realize like what is this standard of relationship that you both need in order to thrive and be happy and healthy. All right, group 2, we're going to pull one card to finish as advice for your reading. Spirit, what do you want group 2 to know? What do you want group 2 to know? What do you want group 2 to know? Fogged in. Go slow, take time. Is that right? I think that this is very interesting energy. So before you come into a relationship with this person, you're going to be experiencing some sense of being fogged in. Like I said, the emotional turmoil of life is going to feel like a lot, and it's going to feel like, there's a lot of emotional intensity in your lives before you meet each other that's creating a sense of fog or creating a sense of like, I don't know where I'm going or what's the purpose or things like this. But once you meet each other and you're in relationship with each other, there's still going to be things that are not revealed to you straight away. Like I feel like you're going to go through many layers of relationship, like I said, these transformative cycles where it's like you won't be shown everything straight away. There will be new levels of your ascension journey together that is revealed to you over time. And it's going to be like surprising every single time that it happens. It's going to be like, what? This is what we're doing now. This is our life now. This is our mission now. Because I feel like you both have mission work together. Like you give me very strong twin flame kind of energy or divine counterpart energy. And it's like you're really here to do mission work together and to be in this divine union together and to like you will naturally ascend because of this union. So yeah, it's just that Spirit saying like basically enjoy the journey, keep an open mind because there's a lot more that's going to be revealed to you about this person if you're already with them. Like there's a lot more to find out here. There's a lot more layers to go through. There's a lot more that has not been revealed yet in the best kind of way. So much more depth and so much more heights to reach than you might have realized. So, all right, that's all we really have time for group 2, but I so enjoyed tuning in for you. And if you would like to check out more of my work, then please see the links in the description below. And I do actually have some private readings available right now. All right, much love, bye. Okay, so group number 3, you chose hematite. So hematite is one of my favorite crystals because of the energy, and I feel like it just has such an original kind of unique energy, and I feel like it's very magical and very protective and grounding at the same time, like it's sort of shielding as well. So I feel like there's something about your auras, like both of you have some kind of a similar essence in your auras. There's something about you that's very, very, I don't know, like you're cut from the same cloth, you're from the same kind of like soul group, you have a similar incarnational history, you have that kind of twin soul kind of energy maybe, but there's something about you that's very, very similar. And when you meet each other, there's instant recognition, kind of like your aura is like the same color or the same exact shade, the same hue, the same frequency. You're on the same frequency as this person. So when you meet, it's like very easy and very just simple. And you kind of even might look the same, or you have something about you, people will be like, oh yeah, you guys definitely meant to be together. Like there's something about you that just, you look similar. And the interesting thing is that I don't actually own very many crystals. I only own like literally a handful, but for some reason I own 2 hematite crystals, okay? I don't know why, but I own 2 hematite crystals, and I'm just getting this image in my head of both of those crystals, like this one, but then there's another one that's like it's twin crystal, and I'm just seeing them both in my head, like really clearly, this image of them both, and they're shaped differently, but they're both hematite, right? And that's kind of what I feel for you. It's like you and your person, like you're shaped differently, you're a different look, but you're the same substance. There's something about your essence that is the same. Okay, so we got the 6 of Pentacles. So reciprocity between you both is going to be really easy and really effortless. Like I feel like you both have a lot to give, and you're you're both extremely generous and you're both extremely generous with each other. And there's this really, really beautiful energy of give and take. You're both really good at giving and really good at receiving. And that is a very unique kind of energy, because a lot of the time, you know, people tend to be more like one or the other. Like they find it easier to give or they find it easier to kind of receive. Whereas like I feel like this connection is very unique because it's very much both. And so I feel this energy flow between you being very long lasting, very sustainable, because there's just this give and flow. Or even if maybe, you know, maybe there might be moments or times in the connection where you're actually still like figuring out this reciprocity, and maybe there is a little bit of an ebb and flow, or like some kind of change that you go through to do with this connection, to do with how much you're giving to each other. But overall, I think that overall energy that you'll feel from each other is like of overflowing abundance. Like there's going to be a lot of abundance, I feel, in your connection as well. And I think that as well, there's going to be something very clear about, like, there's not going to be any question of like, is this equal, or are we giving enough to each other? Or, you know, there's something very equal and very evident, like very self-evident to like other people, that this relationship is very balanced and giving and fair and kind of split. And there's something about as well being really valued for the different roles, because, you know, historically, like, you know, I'm thinking back to like my grandmother's era and stuff, where there was, you know, she had to take on the role as like the housewife, whereas my grandpa had a very like academic and successful career as like a doctor. And so it was like these very different roles, whereas like she was very intelligent and actually a scientist as well, but she took the role as like kind of the caretaker and, you know, took on the role of like the housewife. And so I was thinking about this, and, you know, there's historically kind of like not as much value maybe placed upon that role of like the housewife kind of thing. Like there's more value placed around, it's like, oh my gosh, you got this, you know, have this really successful career and you make this difference in the world and you make a lot of money. Like that's what's considered kind of more highly valued than like the housewife role. So there's something about where your relationship, though, it doesn't have that kind of toxic energy where it's like, even if one of you didn't work, right, and the other one did for some reason, for whatever reason, it's like there wouldn't be this devaluing energy of the person who wasn't working. It would be like, no, there's still, that person is still contributing equally, but just in different ways, because everything is energy. Everything is energy. So it's like if someone can contribute equally energetically, then there doesn't have to be any issues within the relationship. So but it's more than that, because I'm bringing up my grandmother's energy for some reason. I love you, Grandma. Hello. But I feel her spirit with me. But anyway, I'm bringing up her energy for some reason because there's something about the way that you will value each other, though. Like that's really important here. It's like, it's more than just the reciprocity. It's like really valuing each other for what it is that you're doing, and also the sacredness of going through, like valuing each other no matter what kind of phase in life that you're going through. Because I kind of feel like maybe there's going to be periods in this relationship where it's like you're supporting your partner for a while and then your partner's supporting you for a while. Like maybe, I don't know, maybe if, you know, one of you has a baby, for example, then it's like maybe there's more, so, you know, you're not going to work for a bit if you have a baby, or the other person has a baby or whatever. There's something about this where it's like there's kind of this very vulnerable energy between you, where it's like you kind of give a lot to each other, where it's like, oh, I'm just going to fall into your arms and kind of like do a trust fall. But you're really good at doing that for each other. So it's like you will feel safe to kind of like go through a period of like not working, because you don't feel this sense of maybe like, I don't know, there's just this really safe energy between you where you feel supported and trusted and valued in yourself doing that, instead of kind of like devalued for doing that or something like this. Or if one of you goes through some kind of sickness or health issue, like there's this deep love and trust, and it's like you would not be devalued for going through that. There's something really powerful about this that's very rare energy, and other people are going to notice this about you and be like, wow, this is really nice. Like they're going to feel very uplifted by being around the presence of your relationship and your union, because it's very, very healing. And if you did have children, because I did feel sort of a children energy between you guys, but if you did have children, then your children would be deeply healed by your relationship, because there's something very, or even if you have children from other relationships, like they would feel deeply healed by being in the presence of your relationship, because there's something really beautiful about your connection, and there's something so respectful between each other. Like you really respect each other. Like I said, you respect each other for better or for worse. Like when people take marriage vows, you know, what's the traditional thing they say? It's like in sickness or in health, right? And it's like, how many people really mean that though? How many people really show up if someone is going through some kind of, where they're very vulnerable and maybe they're not able to make money for a while? It's like that can put a lot of pressure on relationships, and understandably so. But I just feel like there's this integrity that you both hold in your relationship. There's this deep respect and love for each other where it's like, even if you literally were going through the sickness, right? It's like the love is still genuinely the same. And that is so amazing. And I think that really, like, it deeply heals people to be around that, because it's rare. There's so much conditional love on this earth where it's like, when push comes to shove, is someone really there for you? And, it's complicated, I'm not trying to say there's like black or white, there's, because it's complicated. But I just feel like in your relationship, there is this genuine sense of unconditional love, which is what the traditional marriage vows were like even based upon, this kind of idealized version of like, in sickness and in health, I love you and I'm here for you. And I genuinely see you as, equally valuable, whether you are sick or you are healthy. Like there's something about that unconditional love that's like, wow, it's really beautiful to even just tune into. So really amazing relationship. People are healed to be in your presence. So it's like, of course, you're going to be healing each other to be in each other's presence. It's a real sense of, like I said, I've got 2 hematite crystals. I feel like you guys are each a hematite crystal. In a collection of lots of other different crystals, there's 2 hematite crystals, and that's you guys. Like, you just somehow, there's 2 of you. I don't know how to explain it. It's really nice. Okay, so these are the 7 chakras. I'm going to pull 1 for you and 1 for your partner. So 1 for you. Oh, you got the sacral. That's really nice. Okay, and then for your partner, they are the root chakra. Wow. Okay, so I want to pull also another card first. Like, maybe we'll do this deck. I don't know, we haven't done this deck yet in this readings yet. So this is an astrology deck. So 1 card for you in this relationship. Oh, wow. Abundance. Oh my gosh, I love that. Yeah, you're so generous. Like, but you've met your match in terms of generosity here, because they are also very generous and also have a lot to give. And they are North Node future. Interesting. I do see like children in this connection. For some of you, that will be a very significant part of your connection, is like the children that come from it. For some of you, that's really important, because there's just something very traditional about your energy together. Like I said, it's like you embody the traditional union, like what those marriage vows like actually kind of were meant to mean. That sense of loyalty and like that sense of really building something together. I think that's the best way, is like you really are partners, like the definition of partners, like you are partners in life, partners in crime, maybe a little bit with the sacral chakra energy, having fun, but like you're partners in life, and I think that you really build a life together. And I think that's the thing that you cherish the most about your connection, is that you get to come together with another being on this earth plane and have the experience of building a life with that person in a way that, yeah, you can build a life like on your own or with someone else, but it wouldn't be like this. It wouldn't be like this. It just can't be, because it's a certain thing that you create when you come together with this person. And that's what feels so sacred. And I feel the energy of your relationship where it's like you both just being grateful every single day for each other and for the opportunity like to just have this experience in the earth plane, to have the experience of a home and building such a sacred bond together, and whatever might come from that, because I feel a lot of abundance from your connection. Like you both might want to work together, like build a business together. It might be literally building a physical home together, or building a land together, like having your own homegrown kind of produce that you produce from your own land, like really living really close to nature and off of the land in some way. Like you might be building through that, or building through having children, building a family together. Or it could be like building an empire, because I do feel money in your group. Like I feel like you're both meant to, I don't know, like you got the abundance card and the sacral chakra card. So you're a master manifester. And I think this is something that your person is really going to love about you, is because money seems to just find you. Like, and maybe if you haven't experienced this part of your energy field yet, then trust me, you are going to be. And maybe there's something about this relationship that will help bring this out of you. But you're a magnet for money. Like, you're really good at manifesting money. You have the sacral chakra gift energy coming through in this reading, which means that, you know, that's about manifestation, like that sense of magnetic manifestation where things just effortlessly fall into your lap and fall into place in this synchronistic way, and it's like magic. And that's how this person is going to see you. They're going to be like, wait, this person is literally doing magic. This person has magic in them. Like, how did you manifest this? How did all these things fall into your lap? How did all this money come to you last minute? How did, you know, all these things work out so well for you? So there's something about your manifestational abilities that I think are really going to be activated by this person. And, you know, oh yeah, there's something really activating about this connection that's really going to, I don't know, allow you to receive the most amount of money and abundance. And there's something about you were not experiencing the fullness of this magnetism for some reason. Like, there was some level of holding yourself back, but there's something about the energy that you feel about building a life. Like, you're really looking forwards and you look to the future. Yeah, look, future. Like, this person really makes you look to the future to be like, wow, what do I actually want to build? Like, what's my long-term goal? And I think they make you see things in a different way, and they reframe life in a certain way for you, where all of a sudden you're like, wait, I really want, and like, maybe you had some, you know, because the way I'm getting is like, maybe you had some kind of even sense of like rejecting of your gifts or of your success or of like worldly fame or fortune, where you're like, oh, I don't need all of this, or I don't need to make heaps of money to be happy. But then it's like this relationship kind of reframes things for you, where you look to your future and you're like, wait, what do I actually want? It's like, well, maybe I want to make enough money so I can build my own home. And then it's like something, there's like a fire that's lit in you where all of a sudden you're like, wait, I really want this. And you have this passion and this desire where you start to like really go after your dreams in this different way, where I feel like before this relationship, like your energy is a little bit more floating around and kind of like a free spirit, you know. And I love this for you. Like, I love that energy for you. Honestly, I love free spirit energy. It's such medicine in this world where there's so much conformity and like, you know, so it's like your energy is so medicinal. But yeah, there is something about your free spiritedness that was sometimes getting too out of balance, where it's like you are actually kind of cutting yourself off from possible success, you know. Like, there was something about your free spiritedness where it's like maybe you were kind of hiding a little bit in that free spiritedness. Whereas this person really anchors you, and they really anchor you in a way where it's like, hey, we're going somewhere. Like, you were kind of like flying off in the winds. And I think this relationship grounds you, and it makes you see like, what is my 5-year plan? What's my 10-year plan? What's my 15, 20, 30, 40? Like, what's my whole life plan? Like, you're kind of like looking at life in a different way, where you're like, wait, maybe I need to plan some things to kind of like get somewhere that I want to go. And I think that this is really going to help you, because it's going to for some reason start to like you're going to let yourself make more money. And I really want to reiterate what I just said. It's like, you're going to let yourself make more money, because you've always had this ability in you, and spirit wants you to understand this energy that you have in you, where it's like, you have such an amazing manifestational abilities, but there was something that was holding yourself back within yourself. Like, there was some part of you that was holding back from how successful you could be, or how popular you could be, or how much money you could make, or how, I don't know, embodied, even how sexy you could be. Like, there's something about this where it's like, oh, I don't know if I feel comfortable with this, or something like this. And it was very subconscious. But anyway, this relationship heals you in such a way where it's like, you start to be like, wait, I want this. And you start to like own your desires and realize like, hey, I want abundance. I want money. I want to build this life for myself and for my future. And for some of you, for my children, you know, for their future. Because for some of you, the children part of your story is like really important. But I know that's not for everybody as well. So yeah, there's something about really looking to the future with this person and like building something so strong and so solid. And I realize as I'm talking, the back of the deck is Juno partnership. So I'm going to pull this because this is like the divine marriage energy that I was picking up on in this card. It's like you have this divine partnership energy going on, like both of you. So I think that there's so much fun to be had out of building a life together in the earth plane. And that's the energy I'm getting. It's like, it's fun. It's so much fun to build something and to have the resources to do it. So it's like, yeah, there's something about you being so free of a spirit, that you were so wild that it's like there wasn't enough direction in your life. There wasn't enough groundedness of like, you know, maybe you were just like living for the everyday and kind of, I don't know, there's a wildness that you were in, and it was true to who you are. Like, you were meant to experience that. But I think that this person helps you to really prioritize, like, wait, what's really important for me in life? And like kind of getting out of that cycle of like, I don't know, there's something about this, like there was a cycle you were having where things weren't lasting for very long, like relationships were running out really fast, or you were moving around all the time, or you were quitting things really quickly. There was something where it's like you weren't having things stick, and that might have been messing with your head a bit and being like, oh, am I a failure? Am I like defected in some way? Am I a failure in some way? There's something like this, but it's more like there was something in you that was kind of holding yourself back from real success. And I feel like for some reason this relationship helps you to be like, oh, I don't need that anymore. Like for some reason it was keeping you safe, this sense of like, I don't know, self-sabotage or something to keep yourself safe, like from really shining, really being seen. Like I'm feeling fear of success in your energy field. And this relationship helps you to resolve that. It's kind of like the energy of, it's almost like, for example, I'm getting like a maturity arc. Like, for example, you are like single and you're not really caring about money, you're just living day to day. And then it's like all of a sudden you have a child and you're like, wait a minute, I really need to like, provide money. So your idea of money starts to change and you start to be like, wait, I want stability for this. Like there's something about your energy is really going to change, and this wildness is going to be tamed in some way. And that might make you feel like, wait, am I going to like this? Are you sure I'm going to want to have my wildness tamed? But it's like, actually, I think you are. I think you actually are. I think you're going to like it because you're going to feel like you're taken care of, because there's some kind of energy in your wildness that might be a little bit feral. And I'm saying this like with the greatest love and care, because like I don't want it to come across in the wrong way, but it's like there's almost there's a point where wildness can become like feral, and it's like and the reason I say that is like when, it's like when something hasn't been cared for enough, it can become like kind of like feral. Do you know what I mean? Like if something hasn't been cared for enough, then it can become like like feral. So it's like that's the kind of energy I'm getting, and I don't want it to sound wrong, but it's like there's something about your wildness where it was like you weren't being cared for. There was something about you weren't being cared for in that, and that wasn't good. Like there was something about, you weren't being cared for. So there's something about this person that really cares for you. They really nurture you. They really nourish you. They really like help you get on route, like track with like, okay, you got to eat healthy food. You got to do you got to kind of do the human things, the adult things to like take care of your vessel and your avatar. They might show you like the importance of meditation and these kinds of things. And I think that they really just help ground you and give you like a lot of structure. But then on the other side of that, you really offer them a wildness and a freedom and a flexibility. Like you kind of give me the energy of like, I don't know, maybe you even do like yoga and you're very flexible, or you're a dancer or something, because I just feel this very fluid, flexible, like dancing energy. And you're just like, oh, you just love to be like in this flow and moving, just changing, just being with the elements of life. Like you're very, almost like psychedelic kind of energy. So I feel like they just feel really entranced and just totally in love with this energy that you have. Like you're just so wild and free, and you just move through life and you can manifest things with such ease and grace. Whereas I feel like for them, they're a very different energy in that they're really like, they really do think about the future a lot, and they're really willing to like put a lot of work in and be really diligent. Like they're actually surprised at how effortless the relationship with you feels, because everything in their life has always taken effort, and they're surprised that a relationship can be this effortless. But you're so compatible for one another and you're so perfect for one another that it's like genuinely is a joy just to be around each other. And you're so grateful all the time for, like, I just keep hearing it's like, thanks for the opportunity, like universe, to have this experience, because it's such a beautiful, blessed, like holy experience to have. But I feel like this person is very disciplined. Like they feel very disciplined. Like they've done a lot of disciplined things in their life, and they've achieved things, and they've done it through hard work and diligence and perseverance, and they're really good at those energies. And so it's kind of funny because you have this opposite kind of energy where I feel like they're quite disciplined, and they're kind of like maybe they have quite a strong routine and structure that's very grounding to be around, because it's like, oh, this person has a cycle, and they're like always kind of they have like this energy rhythm that you get in touch with, and it helps to ground you, because it's like you have your own rhythm and you kind of just like dance to the rhythm of life. But then it's like you kind of get lost in other people's rhythms, and then you get lost in this rhythm over here, and then you're dancing over here, and then you're kind of like, wait a minute, where am I? And there's a sense of kind of like boundlessness with you, or boundarylessness with you, where it's like this person is like a life partner. You got the partnership, like you're here to build with this person, you're here to like grow with this person. So coming into step with their rhythm is really, really harmonizing. It's like showing me it's like I'm being shown the energy of a baby that's really grounded by the mother's heartbeat. It's kind of like that. It's like, this is the rhythm you were searching for to kind of like be in touch with. So this person does have a stronger sense of routine or discipline. They're kind of a little bit uptight about it sometimes, and I think you help them to be less uptight about it and realize that it's like the world is not going to end if you don't follow your diet plan for one night. It's like, come on, you know, like you can kind of live a little bit. And maybe also I think you might help this person to indulge more with the abundance card. It's like, you're like, come on, let's indulge, let's experience life, like, you know. And you definitely help them with like sensuality stuff and, you know, other stuff as well, like that. You really help them with that kind of side of life, and I think they really love that about you. And you have some kind of very physical kind of essence to you, like this very you have like kind of a bombshell energy. you might be very kind of oh my gosh, I don't really want to go into this energy too much, but I'm feeling a lot of sexual energy from you basically, and this is very, very alluring to this person. You have a very magnetic, kind of abundant, kind of, yeah, like very nice energy. Anyway, so so this person is very sort of like magnetized to you. But yeah, so you help them be less uptight about their like plans and their routines and their goals and things like this, because they're kind of like serious a little bit sometimes. And for some reason, you just really like this energy. And in certain ways, like it would sort of seem that you wouldn't really get along very well, because you kind of are kind of opposites in some ways, but then you're also so much like cut of the same cloth in so many other ways that it's like sometimes you guys forget that you're even so different, and then sometimes it's really obvious that you're so different. So I feel like you have this like wildness energy. You might also be from different countries or different cultures, or you might like look really different and there's some kind of intrigue about that, like, oh, you're from a different country, like it's so interesting and so different. There's something about maybe you get pulled out of your comfort zones in order to be around each other. There's some kind of growth that happens in order to kind of come into union with each other, or you have to confront some kind of limitation where it's like maybe your family doesn't approve, or they want you, I don't know, it's something like this where there might be some kind of like cultural limitation, like something where you will have to grow a little bit in order to come into connection, and maybe more so from the other person's part. Like I feel like they might have to, I don't know, confront like religious roots that they have that are making them feel guilty or something about, you know, wanting to marry outside the religion or something like this, where it's kind of like it's some kind of a limit that they have to overcome. And for you, it's not so much, I'm not so much feeling like that kind of energy, but there is something that you'll have to overcome as well, coming into relationship with this person. There's a growth that will happen immediately upon meeting each other, where it's like, oh, I have to really like step up and kind of let go of something that has been holding me back, like immediately. And I think like for you, it's something like where you realize you were running from something, or you were or you were having, like this person, there's something about the way that this person looks in your eyes that it really grounds you, and it really ends some kind of like magical thinking or like delusional thinking that you might have had, where like this person kind of like sobers you up and you're like, whoa, wait a minute. That's right, I got to take this thing seriously, or I got to you know, I got to realize that there's a part of me that's hurting, and that's why I'm like out partying every night of this week. You know, there's something about it where it's like other people don't make you see that about yourself, but this person, just by them looking at you, you're just like all of a sudden having all of this awareness of like, oh, I'm actually like avoiding this thing and acting out of this place, and you're all of a sudden like super, super aware of it, and it might be kind of uncomfortable, and you might be kind of like annoyed that this person shows you such a deep kind of reflection of what's really going on. But the thing is that you show them the same thing, but it's kind of like opposites. Whereas you're so wild in your energy and free, they're really uptight and kind of too controlling of their own energy, and they need to loosen up and let themselves be more wild. Whereas I feel like you do need more of a control, because like I said, there was a sense of the wildness was becoming feral because you weren't caring for yourself in some way. Just like how it's like, yeah, partying can be you know, you want to go out dancing all night, then it's like fine, but maybe it's like if you're doing that 7 nights a week, and it's a way of kind of disassociating out of reality, and maybe there's like substance use as well, like okay, well then that's starting to get on the line of like maybe this is not really caring for yourself, maybe this is bordering even on unsafe or like risky behavior. That's the kind of energy I'm picking up that's going to heal in you, where it's like maybe you were taking unnecessary risks, or you were like you know, be acting out of this place of like wanting to have fun, wanting to experience life, but it's like maybe it was actually risk-taking behavior and it wasn't like self-care kind of stuff. And this person really makes you see that, and they make you sober up to that, and they make you realize like maybe you don't want to like you know, for example, like sleep with lots of people. Maybe that's not fulfilling you. Like it's kind of like that kind of energy where you start to realize something different about life. And like apply it in your own way. Like wild to you might be something different, okay? But I'm just trying to like kind of articulate the energy that I'm feeling from this sacral chakra person, which is you. So of course you can understand, I'm sure, like why they're so attracted and drawn to you as well, because when someone is so uptight and controlling as this person is, like, as in, they're not only those things, but it's like they have a shadow side of that, where it's like maybe they don't even want people to know how much time they spend cleaning their house every night, or, you know, how many times they check their alarm before they go to bed. Like they have some kind of like hyper-vigilance thing around, like maybe they're like even borderline a little bit OCD around like cleaning or keeping things organized or keeping to a schedule or keeping to a diet regime. And I think that there's a shadow part of them that comes out with this, where it's like they become too much of an iron fist, where it's like they're becoming too rigid and they're not allowing for a natural flexibility in life, where it's like, okay, sometimes it's okay to like take a night off your workout regime if you've got a really sore ankle and you don't want to do yourself an injury, right? But it's like for them, taking a night off of their exercise routine, even though they have a sore ankle, would make them feel so much anxiety, like they're failing, like they're not doing good enough. And it's like they struggle to regulate that. So they kind of, you know, in their own way, don't take care of themselves through pushing themselves in this kind of disciplined way. So it's like you really help them to kind of learn about flexibility and be like, you know what? It's okay. Like there is another way. There is a third option. You know, it doesn't have to be like break your ankle or be a complete failure. It's like, what if there's another way? What if the world isn't so black and white? What if you can take a night off and that's actually a good thing because it means you can train harder the next day? And, you know, it's like a way of looking at it that somehow makes them see things differently and breaks them out of some kind of spell where they're like, being way too hard on themselves. So you really help them with that and help them lighten up in general and be like, hey, there's like a fun side of life that we're meant to actually experience here. And you really help them with that. But they really help you with looking into the future and being like, well, what is life? Like, you know, what do you want to leave behind? Like, what's the legacy you want to have? Like, what impact do you want to have on the world? I think they're really good for you because they help you stay focused on your mission. Whereas I feel like your soul is just like such life of the party that you might get a little bit distracted sometimes from your mission because you're like, let's go have fun. Let's go adventure and experience this earth plane. So it's like, yeah, they really help you to kind of realign with where you're meant to be going. All right, so let's pull a few more cards for you. So one for you. Oh, look, you got the B, luck, industriousness, sweet victory. So yeah, you are just so fun and so sweet. And then they have forgiveness. Wow, really interesting. All right, and then I want to pull one more tarot card for each of you. So one for you, Six of Cups. That is the energy of forgiveness. So there's some more mirroring energy there. And then one for them. The Ace of Wands. Oh, wow. Yeah, you really bring new life into their life. New life? You breathe like fire into their world. Like, man. It's a very strong, like, attraction, shall we say. That's all I'll say. But yeah, so I was pulling cards to see like what it is that they love about you, but also what it is that's healing in your relationship together, like from both sides. And the really interesting thing is that's what's healing is being mirrored with the Six of Cups and the forgiveness card. The Six of Cups is, to me, like emotional healing from childhood, which is really what forgiveness is. It's like when we heal, we let go of, you know, bitterness and resentments and shame and things like this. And that's what I feel. There's like this emotional purification that's happening in your relationship with each other that is just, it's very, wow, it's very, very deep, innocent love. Like it's very pure love that you share, and it's very emotionally healing to be around each other. And there's just this deep purification of past pains and wounds and past relationships. With the B card, I also feel like you really feel safe to be completely free and completely wild with this person. Like I know I was saying before, you kind of let yourself be tamed in some way, but it's more like you let the parts of you that were feeling out of control be tamed. Like, you know, the parts of you that might feel like because sacral chakra can sometimes talk about like addictions or, you know, overindulgence, even with the Jupiter energy. It's like, and I feel like you let those parts of you be tamed, where you feel safe to be free and to be wild, but in ways that isn't going to hurt you. Because I think that in the past, your wildness like has sometimes turned, like I said, into ways that you weren't caring for yourself enough. So this relationship really supports you to still be wild, because this is the thing this person loves about you, the fact that you are a free spirit and you're the bee. Like, you're just gonna fly away wherever you want to go. And there's even butterfly imagery in the Six of Cups as well. It's like you just have this free spirit energy where you can't be pinned down, and you really can't be with someone who wants to clip your wings or like keep you in a cage, because that would make you feel so sad and heartbroken. So this person knows how to love you, and they know how to let you be free, basically. But the thing is that you also heal the parts in you, like I said, that were being too wild, that were being not caring for yourself enough. And so you kind of settle into this new version of your wildness that is a lot more domesticated and safe, which is really nice. All right, group 3, that is actually the end of your reading. That's all we really have time for, but I so enjoyed tuning in with your connection today. And yeah, if you want to check out more of my work, the links are all in the description box below, and I do have private readings available at this time if you would like one from me. All right, much love, bye. Okay, so group number 4, you chose black obsidian, and then let's see your card. You got the 7 of Swords. So that's a very interesting energy. And I feel it from many different angles kind of being shown to me. So I feel like the core energy in your relationship is going to be about authenticity. I think that's going to be the major theme, and the thing that really heals both of you together in this relationship is how honest that you are going to be with each other, and how vulnerable that you're going to be with each other, and how much you're not going to feel like, I feel like you're not going to feel like you can hide things from one another. And I think this is something that both of you, for some reason, have struggled with in the past. And for some of you, this might be something that still happens, like in the relationship a little bit. There might be a period of figuring out, like, how do I be this radically honest with someone? How do I get out of patterns of hiding things, or not being authentic, or not saying something, or even like trying to conceal things? You know, I feel like there's something about your relationship where you're going to really know that if you start to conceal something from one another, like, that's a real red flag of like, oh, I've got something going on here that I need to address, or I need to heal. And I remember I heard, like, interviewed someone who was like in recovery for addiction, saying that like they realized that when they started to lie to their partner, that was when they really knew that they were starting to relapse and go downhill. And I feel like there's some kind of wisdom in that, where it's like, you're going to really be really aware of inauthenticity around this person. Like, you're going to be really feel like, I cannot lie to this person, I cannot conceal to this person, I cannot cheat this person in any way. Like, there's going to be something about this relationship where both of you don't feel you can do that. But for some reason, this really is confronting, because there's been some kind of coping mechanism that has involved hiding, or being like just not quite fully being authentic in whatever way that might be. And maybe even as well, there might be histories of distrust within relationship, where maybe you were lied to or cheated on, or they were lied to or cheated on in their past. So there's going to be some kind of pain point here about honesty. Or like I said, for some of you, it might come up in the relationship itself, where there might be themes where, you know, something is revealed, and then there has to be a working out of that, like a reckoning of that, or a healing of that. And that's okay. Like, Spirit's saying that's part of the healing work that you're doing together. There's something about, for some of you, it might be that, not all of you, but for some of you, there might be something where, you know, someone has concealed something in the relationship, and then that has to be revealed, and there's kind of this healing that takes place, and this having to learn again about how to be really honest, because for some reason it's been hard, and it's been, like I said, it's been a pain point for both of you in different ways. But in your past and in your present, there's something about it that can be quite triggering. Yeah, and so trust is going to be a massive thing for your relationship, like learning about how to trust and love again. And I think that both of you, like I said, have been a little bit heartbroken in love, to do with honesty or authenticity, or maybe like someone betraying you or not being who you thought they were, or like I said, cheating or lying or something in your past. And for some reason this feels present, especially with the black obsidian stone. It's like, I think this group, out of all of them, I feel more like you've been through really hard stuff in life and in love. And I think that is in your energy field when you come into union with this person, and necessarily it needs to kind of be absorbed. Like black obsidian, like black crystals, they absorb, and some of them transmute negative energy. And I feel like this relationship is going to absorb and transmute negative energy, just like a black crystal, just like this black obsidian. There's something really powerful about how it's going to kind of suck out all of these past bad things that have happened, and help you to heal from them. Because I do feel like, yeah, maybe you've been lied to or had your heart broken, like I said, or been betrayed or cheated on or something. And you know, this is very hard history to have when you want to open your heart again to love, right? It's like, well, it's hard enough to open your heart to love anyway, because it's such a huge risk that you're taking. You know, someone has free will, they can leave at any time. Like, but if you become really, you know, if you really care about someone, then you can get your heart broken really easily, right? So it's like, it's hard enough opening your heart to love, but it's so much harder when you have a history like I'm feeling for this group, where there's just been a lot of, you know, reasons to not trust people kind of thing. So trust is a huge thing that's going to be built between you both. And I also feel like you're going to feel really, you're both going to have some kind of a strategy for life, like a strategy for healing maybe, or a strategy for your life in some way. You know what, we're going to pull some chakra cards. Because I was just thinking the Seven of Swords can also mean strategy, like having a strategy on like how to win kind of thing. And for some reason I feel that for your group, it's like, this relationship is going to give you some kind of strategy, or it's going to give you some kind of formula, or it's going to provide you with some kind of strategy for like healing or for changing your thought patterns even. I think that the communication between you both is going to be like incredible. Like it's going to be really, really good. And that's why it's going to be so extremely obvious if there is inauthenticity, or if there is holding back or secrets or something. You're going to be like, well, this is really, you know, driving this huge wedge between us. It's going to be really obvious when that happens. So you're going to be really forced to continuously grow and be honest and transparent basically in this connection. And I think that's going to be both the thing you love the most about this relationship, but also the thing that is the most challenging about it. Because it's like, you know, it's hard to be 100% authentic and vulnerable and transparent, and you know, like there are reasons why sometimes it feels safer to kind of be dishonest or whatever, which is like what the Seven of Swords can kind of talk about. Or how we might hide in relationships, or, you know, be with people who are unavailable. And then it's like, well, that's easy, isn't it? If they're not available, then you don't have to be seen kind of thing. There's these kinds of things I'm feeling are healing. It's like you're having to be seen. You can't hide. There's no hiding anymore. That's what it is. There's no hiding in this relationship. There's no hiding. You can't hide from this person. And I think for some reason you've compulsively chosen partners where it's like you were able to hide for whatever reason. They were self-absorbed, or they were just emotionally unavailable, or they had a different attachment style to what you needed, or whatever it might be. And now it's like, oh, now you have someone looking at you, seeing you, and your authentic self is on display. And it's like, well, how does that feel? It feels a lot of things. It feels both amazing and very challenging as well. Okay, so we're going to do one card for you from these 7 chakras, one card for you. You know, I really was feeling the throat chakra was going to come out for one of you in this connection, because I was like, communication from this connection. Like, you are amazing communicators. Both of you are. You're like really gifted communicators. And so coming together is like really satisfying for both of you. Well, okay. And then they are the root chakra. You know, we've had the root chakra in this position like 3 times today. Crazy. So they are the root chakra. Okay. So I want to pull like a few more cards to kind of get a big picture. So I'm going to do one from this deck for you. And you are death. Really interesting. And then they are, there it is, they are risk. Really interesting. So I do think, okay, this is what I'm getting. I do think it's going to feel like a huge risk to open your heart again. Oh my gosh. It's going to feel like a big risk to open your heart again to love when you meet this person. And maybe even continuously throughout the relationship, you're going to feel like it's almost like a risk to open your heart this deep to love, because you've been so hurt in the past that it's like, if people really knew how hurt you are in the past, they would honestly give you a medal. You would get an award for like how brave you are to open your heart again to love. Like, I'm really feeling that. No joke. Like, you have really opened yourself to this connection. And I think that's why you really demand a lot from this person. Like, there is high expectations. You both have high standards in relationship, and I think for you this is a really healthy thing. Spirit's saying continue to have high expectations, because you're literally giving your all in this relationship. Like, whether it's here for you yet or not, you will be. You're giving your all in this relationship, so it's like you deserve someone to meet you there in that, and it's not going to be sustainable unless someone else is giving their all. And I think that's something that is going to be very interesting to you, is the fact that I don't think that you realized, or something like this, you didn't realize that you were going to open your heart again. You were like, no, this is not this is not happening. Like, maybe you were like, maybe in 10 years time, or maybe maybe later, or maybe just never. I think there was something about you that was really shut down to love, and it's like, maybe there was a sense of like, I'm not ready, this isn't comfortable, no thank you, like my life, I'm focused on other things in life, I don't know. Or it was just the fact that you've been so hurt before that it's like, are you serious, Spirit? Am I really going to open my heart again after everything I've been through? So there's something about the healing energy that this person presents to you is around risk. It's around, can I open my heart again? And the thing that is that you do, because you feel that they are soul family, you feel like very deep soul connection with them, that is one that you just can't walk away from. I honestly think that if you could walk away, you would, because there is an energy I'm getting from both of you there where it's like, I would really like to be able to hide from this, or I would really like to be able to avoid this, or I'd really like to be able to not confront this, but being in a relationship means that I have to do this. And it's like, oh my God, why is this so painful? And I do sense like that there will be triggers between you both, because there is deep transformation happening here. Like, you showing up as the Death card, which is about deep transformation, like, but really deep, like really breaking down. And it's sort of like a slow process. Like the Death card, I like to think of it as kind of the natural process in nature. Like, if a tree falls, then it's slowly broken down and joins back into the soil beneath it, right? That's like a death process of transformation, where it's moving from one form to another, but it doesn't happen straight away. Like a tree, it takes a while for that tree to break down and become soil and become nourishment, and become, taken up by other parts of the forest or whatever. So that's what I'm getting, is like, there's something about this relationship that instigates, it's almost an initiation for you both into some really deep spiritual work. And sometimes I think you're both like, wait, what did we just get ourselves into? How did we, like, you might almost feel a little bit tricked with the Seven of Swords being your core energy of your relationship. Like, you might be feel a bit tricked, like, hey, I did not know I was getting myself into this depth of work, like, hello. But then it's, of course, once you're attached to each other and you love each other and you care for each other that deeply and you want to build a life together and have a future together, then you're committed to doing the work. And that's why you might feel tricked, because it's like, you kind of, I feel like you especially, you're like, I feel like there's something about you where it's like, you're very independent and you're very good at being on your own. Solitude is good for you, and it's just a part of your energy, and you always have that as being a part of your energy. You always have some energy of solitude with you, no matter if you're partnered or you're single or whatever. So I think that for you especially, you're like, hey, I would have been perfectly happy just living life on my own. Why did this person have to come in and, I have to fall in love with them, and now I have to do all this pesky shadow work and heal and ascend and do all this growth and stuff. I think sometimes there's a resistance where you're like, this is just taking up so much time. But this person has a strong loyalty to you, like with the root chakra. They're very stable in their connection to you and their love for you. And I think that helps you to feel grounded and kind of be like, you know what, I want to show this person that I have the staying power as well. Because there's something about this death process for you that's going to be hard, okay? I'm not going to lie. It's going to be hard because that there's something about the staying power of it that's what's going to be hard. Because I feel like if it was just this really big flash light bulb, light bulb moment, lightning strike energy, then I think that would be easier for you to deal with, because it's like the change can happen all at once. But I think the part that's hard in this relationship is that there's going to be a transformation, and it will be slow, and it will be like a marathon. And there are going to be times where you're like, I did not sign up for this. You're going to be like, I thought we were doing a nice little stroll 5K. And then it's like, it turns out you're doing like an 100K, and you're kind of like, how did I get myself into this? I don't understand. But the thing is that you're going to reach a point of rebirth within this connection. Like, the rebirth is assured just as the death is assured. So there is a slow burn, This might be signifying the beginning of the relationship. There's a process of sorry, I keep hitting the tripod. There's a process of like unraveling or like decay, kind of like I was saying, where the tree breaks down in the forest and becomes one with the earth again. It's like that's kind of what you're going through. You're going through some kind of things that are breaking down and being reintegrated inside of you, and it's slow and it's deep, and it takes a lot of staying power, and that is like, you know, something that can be a bit excruciating at times, but ultimately extremely rewarding. And the thing is that you just feel so easy to communicate with this person. Like, I think you can just talk about anything you need to with this person, and there's such depth. Also, intellectual match, like you are an intellectual match to this person, and that feels very satisfying because you don't feel like you have to hide anything from this person. And I think something like you've had this before in your relationships where it's like maybe you felt like you couldn't talk about spirituality with your partner, or you couldn't talk about, I don't know, some obscure thing that you're interested in, or you couldn't talk about your deepest, darkest secrets that no one ever knows. But whereas with this person, it's like you just feel like you can tell them your deepest, darkest secrets, and that for some reason that feels good to tell them. Whereas for everyone else, it feels bad to tell them that, right? It's like it feels scary, or it feels too vulnerable. Whereas with this person, there's something about it where it's like the risk feels good. Like it feels good. It feels good to share. It feels good to tell them something that's like provocative. And that feels really liberating for you, because I think communication is something that really sets your soul free, and it sets your soul like on fire in terms of inspiration and passion. And so it's like being able to say something taboo to somebody and being able to say something really honest with somebody. Like, I think like the level of honesty in your connection is going to be kind of a lot sometimes, because you're going to be like, you're going to love just having the freedom and the permission to just be able to say anything to somebody. And not in an abusive way or anything, but I just mean in a very honest way, and kind of like have someone like, because there's something about this person where with the root chakra, like they can just handle it. They can handle you. And I think maybe sometimes you've experienced people not be able to handle you. Maybe you're too much, or you're too, like, as in, I'm not saying you are too much. I'm saying that some people might make you feel like you're too much, or that they're like, it's too intense, or I don't want that, it's too much information, like don't tell me that, or it's too triggering, I don't want to hear about that. Whereas like this person, for some reason, they just like it. They like listening to you. They like they could honestly listen to you all day. Like they're like, tell me about it. They're like, they really want to know. And they talk as well, but they also really enjoy listening. Like that's something that they really fall in love with you for, is like just the fact they want to listen to you. They want to listen to your ideas. They want to listen to you, your brain unpack things and integrate things, and they want to talk about it as well. But there's something about they can really hold space, and they don't react. They don't react emotionally. They're not like triggered. They're not like, oh my God, I don't want to hear about it. That's gross, or that's weird. They're just like actually interested, and they just take it on board. And you're like, whoa, like I can take so many risks with this person and just be really like actually free. And this is really opening up something in your artistic expression. Like there's something about this that like sets you free, and you're like, you have a taste for this, and you're like, oh my God, this is my purpose. Like I'm meant to be controversial. I'm meant to like say whatever I want, or I'm meant to have relationships where I'm super honest, or it like inspires something to do with your art, or you want to write a book about it, or you want to like something just unlocks within you where you're like, whoa, this is how I'm meant to be. And there's a depth of communication that you have with this person because of the honesty, because of this transparency, because of this authenticity, that makes this connection so compelling, and that makes you feel so good to be in a relationship with this person. So let's pull a few more cards, I feel, for your group. So let's pull some tarot for you in this connection. Well, we have the Ten of Swords and the Lovers. And then for them in this connection, we have the Three of Wands and the Knight of Cups. Very romantic energy between you. And then I'm going to pull one just for the energy of your connection underneath this Seven of Swords, the core energy of your connection. And we have the Ten of Wands. Wow. So this is a very strong healing connection that you both have together. Like there's a lot of healing happening here. And I'm getting for some reason that they might move overseas to be with you, or they might be from another country, or there might be some element of travel, like, yeah, because I'm kind of, or you come overseas to meet them. There might be some kind of sense of you're separated somehow, but there's deep romance. Like this feels very romantic. I'm almost blushing for some reason as I'm tuning into the romance of this. It's like, it feels very romantic. Like, yeah, like just the essence of romance between you with the Lovers and the Knight of Cups on both sides. There's like this mirroring of just genuinely being in love with someone and having the romance like carry a certain manifestation through. Because the thing I guess that I'm really picking up on within that romance is how much it provides the container that is necessary for the depth of healing that is happening. Because if you didn't have that level of love and romance and gratitude for the connection, you know, and sense of that it's so worth it, right, to do all this work to be together, then it wouldn't be, you know, they wouldn't have the right container and this work wouldn't be able to be done. So it's like there does seem to be, with the Ten of Wands there, it's like there does seem to be something about this relationship where there is work to be done. But I don't think that that's a reflection of the relationship so much as it's a reflection of the things that both of you have been through before you meet each other. I think that you've both been through like a lot in life, and you both have your own traumas, and you know, like I said, you've been through a lot of stuff individually. So when you come together, there's a lot of things that are having to heal. And that's why I was saying with the Death card that you're showing up with, like, it might feel kind of excruciating or painful because there's a lot of things that have to heal from your past, that this relationship is finally giving you the container of love and security in which you're going to be doing that. So it's like there might be some resistance sometimes from you, I'm feeling, not from your person, but from you, where you might sometimes feel like you want to reject this container of love, this relationship, this romance. You might sometimes want to reject it and run away from it because of this Death card, because of the level of transformation, the depth of transformation that it's facilitating for you. Like, it's such a deep transformation. And like I said, that process takes time. Like, and I just feel this sense of you wanting to just scream and like run away, like, because sometimes it's just so intense. But the thing is that you don't want to, like, the work, you realize that this work isn't about this person, like this stuff. Like, I think that the ultimate thing that Spirit's saying that you're both really going to remember, and that's why it's such a healing relationship, is that you don't project this Ten of Wands onto each other, where you're like, you're the reason for my problems, or you're the reason that I feel depressed. It's like you really recognize yourselves that this stuff is within you, whether you're with this person or not. And this is something that you've experienced already. Like the Ten of Swords, again, showing that you've been through a lot of things. Like you might have even been through more things than your person in a certain way, or I mean, it's just all different, right, to one another. But the 10-10 energy here is like, yeah, that's a lot of heaviness there that you're having to heal in this relationship. So it is a very healing relationship that you have, but there is a sense of burden that you're carrying in, like I said, from your past. So, but there is a lot that's going to make this relationship worthwhile. I want to pull one card for like what it is that's really going to make it worthwhile, like what it is that you really love about each other. So this person's really going to see your wisdom and value your wisdom with the High Priestess and throat chakra as well, and your mind with the Lovers as well. Like, you're very intelligent, you're very good at articulating yourself. And I think like this person, like I said, they could just listen to you talking for hours. Like, you're very mesmerizing in the way that you articulate yourself. And I think even your writing, like if you're a writer at all, or if like they really love your writing or your channeling or your healing abilities, all of these things they just love about you, your psychic abilities, your ability to kind of always know what they're thinking. I think you have telepathy with this person. I think you always know what they're thinking. They're like, how do you know what I'm thinking? They love that about you. They're like, that's amazing. That's magical. So let's see. Oh, wow. You love about them that they are so strong and that they never give up. They're like super strong, persevering kind of person, and that they never give up on you or your relationship. And I think that's something that makes you feel very safe, because they honestly don't give up. Like, they don't care how hard it is. Like, they have a staying power with the Nine of Wands. They have a perseverance. They have an ability to be patient and to understand that good things take time and that there's healing that's happening here. And I think it's also their patience with you, because you've been through so much pain. You've had to go through a lot of trauma and things about duality, and this person just has endless patience for that. They don't judge you for your process. They don't try to make it faster. They don't, like, I think that's something that like literally makes you cry with how beautiful it is to you, because there's an energy in you that is trying to sometimes make your path faster. You're trying to make your healing happen more quickly, like I was picking up before with that Death card, where it might be excruciating, the fact that it's taking so much time. And I feel like this person really helps you with that, because they really love you and they soothe you through that process, where they're like, it's okay if it takes time. And they genuinely mean that. They genuinely are patient. They genuinely are not fast if it takes time. And that is so like beautiful to you. Like there's just something that makes you cry about that, because that's such a loving energy. You just feel this pure love that comes through them when they offer you that energy of patience and perseverance and kind of being with you through the healing when so many people haven't been able to stay with you, or they've found you to be too intense or too broken or something. This person doesn't see you like that. They're just with you through it in this unconditional kind of way where they don't mind. They don't mind. And that's something that you find really compelling. You're like, you don't mind? You don't mind that I'm going through this? And they're like, no. And you're like, how can you not mind? And you kind of have this thing where you think that surely they can't love you unconditionally, but they keep proving that they kind of do. Like, wow. So yeah, there's a very strong love energy. And I feel like this person might also really inspire you. I'm getting that's another energy that you really love about them. I think that they inspire you, like maybe to adventure more, to travel more, or inspire you somehow to kind of like get out there with to put your work out there in some way. Even there's something where they challenge you. Yeah, they kind of it's almost like reverse psychology on you. You know how like you can use reverse psychology, especially on like children, because it's sort of that classic. It's kind of that classic thing, like, but something about you like that about them. Like you like that they can use this kind of reverse psychology on you and be like, oh yeah, well, I don't know. I'm kind of drawing a blank, but it's this energy of like reverse psychology, and it makes you feel competitive, or it makes you feel like, yeah, I want to like really dig deep or challenge myself, or I want to take a risk. I want to like take a leap of faith. I want to face this thing. Like it makes you inspired and compelled to actually do something about it. There's something about that whereas other people, I feel they don't have this effect on you. They don't have this effect on you where you're like, oh, I really want to take action, or I really want to, prove them wrong. Whereas this person does, they're kind of like, oh, okay. And then you're like, no, I can do this. What am I saying? And then you kind of like get out of some kind of mindset, like limiting belief, and you kind of like end up doing things. So you take a lot of risks around this person. Like you really confront time and time again, like limiting beliefs that you have, like deeply confront them. And I think this is another reason why it's like sometimes you just want to run away, because you're like, how many more is there to go? Like I feel like I'm doing so much work. Like the 10 of Wands, you might feel like, my gosh, like shouldn't I shouldn't I already be done by now? But there is something that you're moving towards, like together. Like there is a completion energy, because you have the 10 of Wands and the 10 of Swords. So it's like there is an ending here. It's not all going to be the cleanup project. That's what I just heard. And maybe that's something that I feel like maybe it's like it's going to feel a bit like that. Like you've had a massive stuff happen, and then this relationship is like this sanctuary where it's like it's time to clean up and like repair and mend. And it might feel like, again, that it's like there's so many pieces to glue back together again and to make myself whole again. And it's like, how long is this going to take? But Spirit's saying it's going to take as long as it takes. And your partner has this patience energy to help you to kind of give that to yourself and give yourself that same grace. And the thing is with the 10, it's positive, because it means that there's completion happening within the healing. And the burdens, 10 of Wands is the burden, but it's like the burden is being completed and it's being released. The 10 of Swords is, again, like all of this trauma that you've gone through finally healing. And I think you have a lot in your mind. Like I think this person really helps you with your mind, and they help you with kind of recognizing the ways that you might hold yourself back from like what you perceive as taking a risk, but they just perceive as maybe like, no, you just got to like put yourself out there. And you're like, no, that's so risky. I can't do that. And they're really going to help you to kind of let go of limitations that you have in your mind where you might be holding yourself back. So let's pull some advice for your group to finish up with this reading. Spirit, what's your advice for group 4? Infinite abundance. Abundance is pouring into your life. Wow. So you're going to have a lot of abundance with this person, like infinite abundance with this person, actually. This relationship is going to really help with your abundance frequency. Maybe that's something that, I think that's something that this person is going to have a lot more effortlessly. And they're going to help you feel more abundant. I think that sometimes or maybe you will help them, vice versa. Maybe it'll be both, But there's something about abundance, like the frequency of abundance. You're both really experiencing the frequency of abundance, because there has to be things that make all of this work worthwhile. And I think that you're going to have a lot of earthly comforts to kind of make this work worthwhile with this person, because I do feel that you're going to have a very like beautiful experience of the earth as well. And that's why I feel like this card wants to come out, because the 10 of Wands, the 7 of Swords, the 10 of Swords, it's like that's 9 of Wands. It's a lot of intense energy. The Death card, the Risk card, you know, clearly there's a lot going on here, but there's also a lot that's going to soften this experience, Spirit saying, with the infinite abundance. Like there's also a lot that's going to make this experience more luxurious, more comfortable, more comforting, more like soft on all of your senses, where you kind of get to have, you know, a nice bath at the end of the day. And like, I don't know, there's something about also this person, I think they're going to really want to spoil you. And I think you're going to feel spoiled in this relationship as well. It's what I'm picking up. Like maybe you're going to really do really nice, thoughtful gestures for each other, like buying each other a gift or thinking of each other and purchasing something. But yeah, I feel like for some reason I'm picking up especially this person wanting to spoil you, and especially because I guess they can see that you're going through a hard time and you're really doing some deep healing. Like I feel like you might have had some traumas in your past that are quite, you know, severe. And so there is some, you know, deep healing work that you're doing. And I think your partner can really see how hard that is for you. And they really want to spoil you and make your life enjoyable and make it comfortable and make it pleasant, you know, to kind of balance out these energies. And I think they're going to be doing just that. And they're going to be this perfect kind of balance to this healing phase that you're in. And you're going to be really grateful that you have this person to help you with it. And Spirit's saying there is really no avoidance of this pain that you're going to be healing. Like there's no avoidance of it. So you may as well have this support from this beautiful person. Like they're not the reason for this pain, you know, they're the reason that you're healing this pain in a way. But Spirit's saying you would be healing with or without this person. There's just a phase of healing that you're going to be entering into over the next few years anyway. So yeah, a lot of abundance within this connection, and a lot of abundance to kind of coexist amongst, you know, some really deep emotional healing work that you're doing as well. All right, group 4, that is your reading, and I'm sending you so much love on your path. If you would like to check out more of my work, my links are in the description box below, and I do have some private readings open at the moment if you're interested. Much love.